prospered as no other people on earth, it was because here in this land, we unleashed the energy and individual genius of man to a greater extent than has ever been done before. Freedom and the dignity of the individual have been more available and assured here than in any other place on earth. The price for this freedom at times has been high, but we have never been unwilling to pay that price. Those who say that we're in a time when there are no heroes, they just don't know where to look. The sloping hills of Arlington National Cemetery, with its row upon row of simple white markers bearing crosses or stars of David, they add up to only a tiny fraction of the price that has been paid for our freedom. Each one of those markers is a monument to the kind of hero I spoke of earlier. Their lives ended in places called Belleau Wood, the Argonne, Omaha Beach, Salerno, and halfway around the world on Guadalcanal, Tarawa, Pork Chop Hill, the Chosin Reservoir, and in 100 rice paddies and jungles of a place called Vietnam. Under one such marker lies a young man, Martin Treptow, who left his job in a small-town barber shop in 1917 to go to France with the famed Rainbow Division. There on the Western Front, he was killed trying to carry a message between battalions under heavy artillery fire. We're told that on his body was found a diary. On the flyleaf, under the heading, My Pledge, he had written these words: America must win this war. Therefore I will work, I will save, I will sacrifice, I will endure. I will fight cheerfully and do my utmost as if the issue of the whole struggle depended on me alone. We must realize that no arsenal or no weapon in the arsenals of the world is so formidable as the will and moral courage of free men and women. It is a weapon our adversaries in today's world do not have. It is a weapon that we as Americans do have. Let that be understood by those who practice terrorism and prey upon their neighbors. As for the enemies of freedom, those who are potential adversaries, they will be reminded that peace is the highest aspiration of the American people. We will negotiate for it, sacrifice for it. We will not surrender for it now or ever. We are Americans.
You need to get a handle on this stuff, because if you don't, in 6 months, the Democrat machine will fire up and they'll tell everybody that they'll solve all their problems with socialism and pixie dust. And the voters are going to say, well, the Republicans aren't doing anything. They don't care what the Republicans do. The Republic, well, you know, we voted for the Republicans and they suck. They didn't do anything. They can't get anything done. And the problem is the Republicans establishment. I do worry that part of this is they hate Trump anyway. Okay, they despise him. They've always hated him. And to them, they couldn't throw him in handcuffs, so they're going to handcuff his agenda and let him run out the clock. That's what I worry is actually happening right now. He says something, you all share 1,000 clips of him. There's 1 million clips that come out. Look what he said. The response is going to be the same every single time.
Donald J. Trump has been.
There's a rumble in the distance, something stirring up the ground. Coffee shops and corner stores, people talking all around. But the words they're speaking softly got a weight that pulls you down. Something's moving through the grapevine, word by word from town to town. And they lean in close to tell you what they heard somebody say. But the truth gets bent and twisted as it travels on its way. Who do you trust when the talk gets low? Who do you trust when the whispers grow in the halls of Backroom deals and handshake promises sliding underneath the door. Politicians playing poker with the chips are rich and poor. Every word's a calculation, every pause worth so much more. While the people keep on waiting for the truth they're hungry for. And they lean in close to tell you what they heard somebody say. But the truth gets bent and twisted as it travels on its way. Who do you trust when the talk gets low? Who do you trust when the whispers grow in the halls of power where the secrets flow? Do you trust? Tell me who do you trust? Thicker, every lie becomes the truth, and the honest voices calling sound like strangers in the booth. We're all just trying to listen to the static and the noise, but the loudest information drowns out the quieter voice. Who do you trust when the talk gets low? Who you trust when the whispers grow in the halls of power where the secrets flow? Who you trust? Tell me who do you trust? Who you trust? Do you trust? Do you trust? Do you trust when the whispers grow?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Political Theater, everybody. Thank you guys for joining me this evening. If you guys are listening on Rumble, Substack, wherever you guys may be tuning in, thank you guys for being here. We got a lot to talk about tonight. I was off last night. I was off the night before because I was in D.C. and, I ended up coming back and it was late. So I'm happy to be back, guys. I have a huge show for you guys. Got a lot to talk about. We have a lot to go over, but I'm thank you guys for being here. So make sure you guys share this out. Before we get into anything, make sure you guys follow us on Substack. Make sure you guys follow us on WCDispatch.com. Make sure you guys smash the follow button on Rumble, on YouTube, everywhere you're at. Make sure you guys leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the show. If you guys are on the space, you guys will be able to come up here and join the show. Obviously, if you're on the other platforms, if you want to join the show, you got to go to x.com, go to @WCDispatch, and you guys can join the show, come up and speak after we get through this intro here, because we got a lot to talk about, because I need to go over what, this trip for me was great, because I rarely take any time off, honestly. But let me tell you, the Republican Party, they don't, no one wants to hear, but they want to lose. They really do want to lose the midterms, the way I see it. They are not prepared to win at all. And if we keep letting them do what they're doing currently, they're going to lose, and they're going to lose again and again and again, because they are losers in their own mindset. But being at George Santos's party was great. I mean, it was fun to be at this party, go see some friends, talk, and actually have a night off. That was fun, having some R&R. But I don't really do that often, but I rarely shut down. I rarely stop doing anything. I'm kind of just always on the grind. But I went for George, and I ended up getting a lot more value out of it than I did just rest. I really got some clarity out of it. So for months now, the right has been in disarray. We've been scattered, fighting about podcast hosts, fighting about personalities, fighting about which platform people are allowed to be on. I mean, who knows? It's endless. It's endless amounts of fighting, and it's exhausting. And it's pointless. And worst of all, it's been a massive distraction from the only thing that actually matters, and that is winning. We lost focus. I lost focus personally. I try to stay out of the personality game. I do. I hate it. I think it's stupid. I think it's noise. But I got sucked in recently with the Candace Owens, nonsense, because what she's doing to TPUSA and TPUSA wasn't responding, I think it mattered for me at least, because the way I see TPUSA is not just like it's not like an influence or something. It's actually an organization that we need. So I thought it was important to actually address that. But, now that Erica Kirk is actually responding, I think it's time that we dial back in. We actually get focused again. We actually go back into this because it's time that we actually do this properly. The country doesn't care about our stupid internet fights. They don't care about swing voters or any of that stuff. None of that stuff matters to them. And the Democrats are laughing at us as we argue. They don't care at all about what we're arguing about. That means nothing to them. So that's why this trip mattered so much to me, because at that party, I got to spend some time with, people that actually mattered, people that are really focused on the mission. They're not talking about clicks or, whatever some such nonsense. I got to talk with Scott Pressler for hours. And I want to tell you guys something. There was no small talk with Scott. None. Not a single second from the first sentence. Not even a how are you, no ego, no podcast discussion. From the first sentence, how can we win? Where can we win? Where are you at? Are you in Ohio? Okay, you're in Ohio. What can we do in Ohio? What districts are in play in Ohio? What's the path to win? Can Vivek win? Does Sherrod Brown actually have a chance against Usted? That was the conversation, and that went on for hours. Hours. Laser focus. That was it. The entire conversation. And it reminded me of what I was supposed to be doing. That's what it really did. Because somewhere along the way after the loss in Virginia, I think I lost that edge for a little while. I think I did. I was so focused in Virginia. And then after we lost, I lost that clarity. And I know I'm not the only one. I know a lot of people on the right lost focus. And it was, a combination of things. We lose Charlie Kirk's death. We got reactive. We got emotional. We got distracted. And it's time. We're coming to the end of the year. And it's time to snap back into shape, because from here forward, I don't care what personalities are doing. I don't care about internet feuds. I don't care about subplots. I don't care about any of this stuff, guys. It's how do we win and where do we win at? That's it. That's the only thing we have to do, because if there's the uncomfortable truth is, if the Republicans are left to their own devices, they're going to drop the ball again. They will do it again. They will fail again. Absolutely fail again. Just like they did in Virginia, just like they did in New Jersey, just like they did everywhere else, like they've done for decades without Trump in the game. And just look what happened in Indiana. The Republicans just refused to do the redistricting in Indiana. The senators voted against it, okay? So they just gifted the Democrats 2 seats. 2 seats in the House. Not because the Democrats outplayed them, not because the courts forced it, but because the Republicans chose not to vote for it. And you got to ask yourself why. And the answer is simple. The Republicans do not want to win. Too many Republicans do not want to win. They're comfortable. They're protected. They don't think anything can happen to them. They're insulated. And they still do not know what time it is. They still don't. They don't get it. Meanwhile, the Democrats perfectly understand the scenario they're in, and they are fighting like hell everywhere. I mean, Virginia, the first thing that's going to happen in Virginia is they're going to push that constitutional referendum. The first thing that they do when that Congress seats, when that House seats, in Virginia, they're going to push the constitutional referendum. That's going to get pushed in April, and then they're going to try and take 4 seats in Virginia. Proposition 50 already passed in California, and Democrats are across the country are laser focused on how they can use every lever of power they have, legal, procedural, institution, to get back into control. That's what they care about. They fight like their future depends on it, like they want to get back into power. That's all they care about. The Republicans, what are the Republicans doing? No one has any idea. They can't even do anything in the Congress that we control, in the Senate that we control. They can't get any of Trump's appointees through. These people are useless. They don't want to fight. And every Republican who didn't vote for that map in Indiana should be primaried. Every single one of them. No excuses, no grace period, no next cycle maybe. No, guys, we need to start holding these people to account, because if they are not willing to fight for power, then they don't deserve it. They don't deserve it at all. And, every single, we need to bring pressure. Different kinds of pressure. There's not physical pressure, but I mean electoral pressure. Every accountability measure needs to be done pro. We need to expose these people. We need to go after these people. And if the Republicans are not going to get with the program, they're going to have to be replaced. That's how it works. That's the only way this works. And that's how it's always worked, really. Power is never handed over to the people politely. It is taken by people who show up and refuse to accept failure as inevitable. And that shift is coming. And that is coming, because I'll tell you this, I'm done waiting for permission, and I am done hoping that this party figures out on its own, and I'm done watching opportunities slip by like like it's Republicans in 1995 arguing about policy or something. That's not happening. I'm not doing it anymore. And at the first of the year, things are going to change. The days of the Republicans that slip by coasting and hiding and sabotaging is going to come to an end, and the days of unanswered questions are about to end. And a new pressure is about to show up. And a new face is about to show up and start asking some real questions to these people because no one else will. And it's not going to be polite and it's not going to be liked, but we have to win because that's the job. And if the Republican Party won't do it willingly, then the voters are going to have to do it for them. And the clock is ticking. So look for that at the coming of the year, guys. I've got something coming. So with that, we're going to get into the show. Thank you guys for being here this evening. This is the Political Theater. I'm Walter Kurt. Thank you guys for showing up this evening. If you guys would like to join the show, you can request on x.com you can go to the space. The space is up and running and live, and you're welcome to join the show. We have a lot to talk about. There's a ton of news that came out. Obviously, Erica Kirk has responded to Candace Owens. She told her to stop directly, which is hysterical because Candace Owens, of course, didn't, she just said no, essentially. So, she doesn't care. But we also have to go over some of these other things that happened. Apparently, Kilmar Abrego Garcia has been released. That's nice. He's what are we doing? I guess I don't understand. How is it possible that a guy who is here illegally is being forced to be released from ICE detention? How is that possible? I mean, what are we doing? I mean, these judges that just keep doing this stuff. This guy has a huge criminal rap sheet. He was here illegally, and somehow a court is telling us that that we can't hold him. We can't even keep him. We can't even keep him in ICE detention. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. But, this is yet again just another rogue judge that wants to make a decision. This guy needs to be deported, and they just need to do it. They need to get him out of the country. He has no right to be here. Nobody has a right to be here. Okay, that's something that needs to be made very clear. If you are not a citizen of this country, then you don't have a right to be here. You have no rights to just show up in our country and stay here just as long as you want because you've got attorneys and because the Democrats like having margaritas with you. Get him out. Get him out of the country. I don't care where you deport him to. Just move him there and get him out. I mean, this is ridiculous that this has taken so long. And the fact that a court's trying to tell us that we have to release this guy is absurd. It's completely absurd. I've never seen anything like it. But we have the other stuff going on as well. If you guys want to join, I've got one person requesting to join the show now. Jared, of course. Welcome to Jared. And then we've also got to go over some of the other stuff. So apparently we have now seized an oil tanker in Venezuela, off the coast of Venezuela. It's something I've never seen before. That was wild. There's other news stories too, but guys, if you want to join the show, you want to come up here and talk, you're welcome to do so. Jared, if you joined, I can't see if he'd let you join or not, but you're welcome to talk. And what's up, buddy? Nope, obviously not up on the show. Oh, there you go. Now what's up, Jared?
I'm here. Hey, what's up? I think you're all refreshed from the DC George Santos party.
I am.
How was it?
It was good. It was a good party. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. Got to meet and talk with some great people, some people that are really focused. It was fun. I had a good time. It was worth going. I'm glad I was there. I rarely take off and go do stuff like that, but that was a lot of fun, so I'm glad I went.
Yeah, I'll be in DC the first week of January, so I'll be there for a few nights or a few days, I should say.
Oh, okay.
Especially for the January 6th anniversary. So I'll be on the Capitol Rotunda for a day or so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was a lot of news obviously released today. I was also outside the federal courthouse in Norfolk this morning, where they also rejected another grand jury rejected the indictment of Letitia James. So this is the third time.
Oh, sorry there. I don't know what the hell that was. Go ahead.
Yeah. So at the federal courthouse when that happened in Norfolk this morning. So that was interesting. I don't know what topic you're on right now that I can comment on.
I just went through the intro of the show. So I was just talking about how some things are going to change coming into the beginning of the year. The Republicans want to lose, as far as I can tell. They like losing. They like being losers. That was the intro discussion. But we can go over whatever you'd like. The discussion right now, I was just moving in through some of the news. So obviously Erica Kirk is finally responding to Candace Owens, and Kilmar's been released, or they're telling him he's supposed to be released. And Letitia James, they rejected another indictment for Letitia James. So those are the first just the first couple themes I was going to go over. And obviously other people are welcome and willing to join the show. They're welcome to come up here and request, guys. But Jared, it's good to talk to you. So, next time I'm in DC, let's get lunch if you're still there. So I'll let you know next time I'm there.
For sure. I love being in the Beltway of DC. Candace Owens and obviously Erica Kirk, I'm curious on what your thoughts are that a lot of people have been saying, even Nick Fuentes has been saying on his program why Erica Kirk is going on this media tour. I've been a very calling out Candace Owens and all of her lies, every day. Obviously, she topped out of the Turning Point conference, um, where the producer invited her to come up on stage and say whatever conspiracy theories that she sees fit. But it's just interesting that Erica Kirk has a lot of time, right? She's in New York City right now, on this curvy couch of Fox and Friends, outnumbered. I think she's going to be with Mark Levin this weekend and Laura Ingraham. I'm like, dang, this is a lot of interviews. But maybe she sees this as the way to get her story out, right? Because I can't imagine Erica Kirk, a widow, sitting home watching Candace Owens run amok.
Well,
She's
I mean,
literally
and
running amok.
this is the reality of it. Okay, so a lot of people have I've gotten very annoyed watching this. All of the people that are out here questioning exactly what Erica Kirk should be doing, you just need to shut up. I mean, these people are obnoxious. Anybody who's doing this, like, she is a widow who just lost her husband. She has 2 small children, and people are out here like, oh, she's not really upset. She's not really mad. Why don't you just shut the fuck up? I mean, really, like, how about you just be quiet and just let her do what she needs to do. I mean, okay, she lost her husband, but her husband wasn't just some random person. He happened to run, one of the most important political organizations in the country by like a wide margin. Okay. And, it happened in broad daylight. And now she has to sit there and figure out how to run a multi-thousand person organization. She has to figure out how to do all of these things off the cuff. I mean, guys, this is a position that no one should ever have to be part of. It's horrible that this is happening. But the reality is this is where she has to be. And people are like, well, why is she doing this giant media tour? She's doing a media tour because she feels like she has to. She has to continue the work that her husband was doing. Of course she does. She believes that she wants to make sure that his legacy continues. How else do you do it? Do you have to respond to all this nonsense? Yeah, it's horrible that she has to respond to all this nonsense. She shouldn't have to. She shouldn't have to sit there and question whether or not her and all of Charlie's friends were involved in his assassination. It's the most absurd thing in the world. It really is. And that's why, this is what I was talking about at the open for a minute there, was that, I was distracted because I was starting to talk about it a lot because I think it's gross. And Turning Point wasn't really responding a lot yet, but now they are. Okay, so I think Erica, one of the things I said is, the righteous fury is not come out quite yet, but I think it will. I think she's going to go off at some point, and she needs to. And it doesn't need to be emotional or aggressive. It just needs to be reality, because this stuff needs to stop, and Erica's the person to stop it. She is. I mean, she is a widow. She is Charlie Kirk's wife, and this person that is attacking them constantly, she has nothing. She's got nothing, and she never has the whole time, and it has been this murder mystery drama bullshit for so long that everyone's done with it. I've seen the tide starting to turn, and it needed to. It needed to, because this has gone on for far too long. It went on for far too long, and we can't do it anymore, and it's just ridiculous it got this far in the first place. But, at the end of the day, I think Erica will be just fine, because watching just a couple responses from her now, she's starting to get pissed, and she should be, and she has every right to be angry. And I hope she takes it out and makes sure that this is put to bed, because it's way too much. It is way too far. And you know what? She's got more credibility towards what Charlie knew and wanted than anybody else. And it's not even close. It's not even close. There's nobody that has the kind of insight into who Charlie was than his own wife. And anybody that likes to claim the otherwise, you're disgusting. That's the reality of it. So yeah, I hope that Candace Owens is put into her place, because she needs to be. She needs to be. But anyway, I don't want to rant too much about Candace Owens, because I already did that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think there will be lawsuits forthcoming. I mean, I think that's the only suitable option here, right? You cannot go and lie with impunity and just lie and lie. I mean, they're at this point, right? These crazy people they're like making, I guess they're face expression experts now, right? Whatever
Right.
face expression that Erica Kirk makes, right? Or whether or not she's having a hidden affair with JD Vance is sitting, right? Like this has gone beyond the pale, and money talks, right? Money does talk. And in case in point, Alex Jones, right? He's bankrupt right now for lying about elementary 5 and 6 year old children, saying that they never died, right, for the Sandy Hook school shooting, and we know how that worked, right? I mean, literally people coming to his house, taking his media equipment down, saying, "Sir, you're evicted." So honestly, you have the comfort to be in the city of Nashville in some studio and just saying a whole bunch of hogwash lies all single day. But even her cult following, and we've seen this, and even your last episode right here on X, I think we were discussing the matter that a lot of her followers or her cult follower base are even starting to realize, Candace, where's the goods? You've promised me this. You
Well, I
promised
mean,
me
and
this.
this is again the
You
point,
promised me
right?
that.
Well, and just to correct a little bit of that for InfoWars' sake, I mean, InfoWars and what Alex Jones did with the Sandy Hook stuff, everyone gives that a huge bad rap. And, it wasn't a great thing for him, but I also think that was a ridiculous prosecution of him. And it also didn't really go that far, but because InfoWars is still operating. They're massive right now. Everyone sees InfoWars every day, all day long. His company is still existing and he's never going to go away. That's not going to happen for him. But there's a huge difference there. The huge difference is that, after that, he's already gone through the court process on that, but that was 20 years ago. What's going on right now, what Candace is doing is she's just creating things from nothing at all. Like there's nothing at all about this stuff. There's nothing at all. And she keeps doing it and keeps going after it, keeps talking about it, keeps going over more and more and more and more. Every day it's, I've got the final piece. How many times can you do that before people just go, okay, but you don't? You have nothing. You've got nothing, and you never did. You never did. You've never had it. You keep on going and going and going and going and going. Like the Alex Jones Sandy Hook story, everyone was like it was terrible. Then maybe he did that, and maybe he was wrong about that. But listen, he didn't make his entire living off of that show or off of that accusation. That never happened. Okay, like the InfoWars show for 20 plus years didn't have that hanging over top of its head. Okay, that's not something that happened. It came in many years later. He lost the lawsuit. The company's still running, but they don't talk about that stuff still. I mean, this is whether or not lawsuits come. I'll tell you now. I expect that if they do sue her, if someone sues her, it's going to be brutal, and she is going to deserve it. I mean, she's already in court with the Bridget Marcon stuff. And now some people say, I disagree that I think that that's going to end up winning for her. I don't think it's going to go that far. But at some point, I mean, the deal is that you're screwing with people that can keep suing you. They can just keep suing you. So they're going to they're going to make her pay for it one way or another. But this stuff, all of this stuff, she deserves to be sued by, many people at this point. Many people deserve to sue her. And I got to give credit to Tim Pool. Tim Pool has been going off on her. And I like Tim Pool. I don't happen to watch his show most of the time because his show is like it's hours that I'm doing other things. But I do happen to watch some of his stuff here recently, just every now and then. And all the stuff that she's making up, she puts his name in there as if he had something to do with it. I mean, it's just, you just keep doing it. You just keep going after more and more people. How many enemies are you trying to make? Is the real question, I guess. Like, are you trying to see how many people? Are you going for some sort of award on how many people you can get to hate you? I'm not sure. But it seems to be working if you're trying to get a lot of people to despise you. Like it seems to be effective at doing that. So I don't know if that's her intention or if that's her goal, but it sure seems like it because this is absurd at this point. But again, like I said, Erica Kirk is the one that's responding to this now. And I think Erica has the entire authority to be able to speak on this. And I think she'll be able to deal with it. That's what I think. I think Erica is going to be the one that's going to be able to deal with this properly. I wish she had done it a couple months ago, but I'm not going to put it against her because I said this a couple times to a few different people. Is that like, does anyone really expect that we're going to have the widow out there with a sword just attacking the vultures that are attacking her? I mean, I felt that was a terrible thing, but at this point, she doesn't have a choice. And I think she realizes that. And I think that's why this media tour is happening. I think that's why they're responding to all this stuff now, because I think Erica looked around and said, these people are coming with the knives and the pitchforks to get me and destroy what's left of her husband's organization. And Turning Point cannot fall. I mean, for anybody who's on the right that actually cares about winning and doing things, there isn't a replacement for Turning Point. There isn't. There's nobody that does the voter outreach like Turning Point. There's nobody that does the voter registration like Turning Point. There's nobody that does the door knocking like Turning Point. There is no replacement for Turning Point. And we don't have one. We don't have that infrastructure. So if we lose it, we would lose. So we can't have that happen. So we need to make sure we actually fight back and actually win. So I think that what Erica has started doing, I think we're going to see more of it, and I think it's going to get more aggressive. And I look forward to seeing the righteous fury come out because she is in every right to do so. And I'm surprised that, I mean, the stop that she said so far, I think that's just the beginning. So I expect after the 15th, which is coming up soon, after that happens, I expect that we're going to see way more than just that. So, that's, what is that, Monday? Or is that Tuesday? I think that's Monday, isn't it? But anyway, I'm looking forward to watching that stream. But listen, and yes, you mentioned Nick Fuentes. Fuentes has been going off on this woman, which, by the way, anybody who thinks that Fuentes is a grifter, no. I mean, you guys, you got to give the guy credit here. He believes what he says. And further than that, if he was a grifter, he could have just piled onto this crap. Why didn't he do that? He's been doing the opposite, actually. In fact, I think I heard him say on his show, I listened to a bit of it one night, and he said that it was, the stupidest thing he's seen in 10 years of doing his show. And I agree with him. It is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. There is no concept of, understandability to this. I mean, I put a post out before I left, before I went down there, and this is the last post I'll put out about any of this stuff, but I put a post out, and I wrote it intentionally. I wrote it in so that the first set of characters on X, how X, you have after you reach a certain character limit, it expands and you have to click show more. Well, the way I wrote that post was intentionally done. I wrote, Candace Owens, what she's doing is incredibly valuable. She is great. She is pulling on threads that nobody else could have ever think of. They were too timid to do so. And then as you click and expand more and read further into it, and keep going, it explains how, it's fantastic that she's done this because it has exposed to us the greatest IQ filter that has ever existed on the history of the internet. If you are stupid enough to believe that people in maroon shirts, the Egyptian military, the Brigitte Macron, the French Foreign Legion, the Chinese White Lotus, I mean, who else is there? I mean, who knows? Everybody's involved somehow. The Trump's involved. JD Vance is involved. Everybody's involved. Everyone's doing this. If you're dumb enough to buy that without any receipts played up on it, then you're just a moron. Okay. And that's the easiest way to look at this. I mean, it's perfect. It's a perfect IQ filter. It also exposed a very interesting fact that this is how mass media manages to sway people with, even if they don't provide receipts. This is what happens. We saw this happen 1,000 times with the fiery but mostly peaceful protest of BLM, with the Russia hoax, all of this stuff that was just complete nonsense that had nothing true backing it, nothing at all true backing it. At least we actually get to see what this looks like. It's, you just have authority because people watch you and lots of people watch you, but people believe it even though there's nothing but to it. And apparently you can convince, 10 million people that this is really happening. Wow, that's crazy. That's wild to see that in real time from something less, especially because of how insane this is. Like, it'd be one thing if there was something there was actually real receipts or something like that, but there's nothing. There's nothing at all, and a whole bunch of people are all over it. It's crazy. So it's been very enlightening to see that. But it was very funny because that post, the reason I wrote it like that is I wanted to see how many of them would share it without reading it, and it turns out a lot. It was very funny because if you quoted the post, it was almost perfect clickbait for Candianites, which is who I'm calling Candace Owens followers now, by the way. By the way, I also labeled her within that post that she is the Ketanji Brown Jackson of the right. So she's now Jackie Owens. That's her name from here forward. So if anybody's curious, that's where that comes from. So if you saw a couple of the other posts I talk about, it's Jackie Owens now. So that's what I'm referring to Candace Owens as from here forward because it's just perfect. Okay, I got another request from somebody coming up here on stage. Chad. What is up, Chad? Bring him up here. Guys, if you'd like to join the show and you want to come up here and talk, you need to go to x.com, go to @WCDispatch, and you can join the show, and you're welcome to bring any commentary you'd like, any questions you'd like for me, any other things you want to talk about, anything in the news that you want to bring up, you're welcome to do so now. What is up, Chad? You joined the show. What's happening?
Hey, Walt, thanks for popping me up here. Changing gears off of, Candy O, and I wanted to ask you a quick question. First and foremost is, how's mom doing?
My mom's doing good. She's actually gone and had a follow-up, and she's looking like she's doing great. The doctor said that the stent looks good, so everything seems to be in good front for her, so she's in good health. She's recovering. She's still a bit sore, but she'll be okay. So everything seems to be going good for her. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Glad to hear, man. So did you have a discussion with Scott regarding kind of what his viewpoint is on the ground, because I was listening to Stealth the other day, and Chris Moreno was in there. And Chris said he's pretty confident about kind of the ground game going into August with both Trump and JD hitting the road. I mean, I think it's just, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but, you know, is that something that they should be doing? I mean, I think we all agree probably shouldn't, right? I mean, that's not where they need to be focused in on. And I don't know. I mean, what's your take? What's his take? What did he say about what he sees out kind of on the street?
Well, you know, I think, you know, not in terms of who's going to be out on the ground. I didn't talk to him about that specifically, but I did get to talk with a couple of people. You know, I talked to a couple members of JD's staff. I talked to a couple other people that are really like in the know. I think that people are focused on the midterms more than people realize, like the people that matter, you know, in terms of who's going to be out there and going out and doing things. I think that they will use the surrogates and within the Trump administration in the places that they need them. I mean, it's not like they're going to be out there on the road every single day, but they are going to have them out there doing stuff. And listen, J.D. Vance can go out and do things. And J.D. Vance, I think he's going to be in Ohio. I think he's going to show up in Ohio. I think they'll be in Pennsylvania. And they have to be honest with you. They don't need to be there every day. But in terms of winning for the midterms, if we want to win, we need to have some of our people out there. I think Trump should probably have at least a few rallies and stuff like that. So I don't know specifically what their plan is, but I do think that we're going to see more of this. I think there's going to be more of this. I think there will be. I think they will be out there doing stuff. I don't doubt that at all. Where exactly I'm going to see them, I don't know. I mean, I would say where are the most competitive states right now? Now, I had a couple conversations about Ohio because obviously I live in Ohio, so that's what people were asking me about. I think that Vivek is probably going to be okay. I'm not worried about Vivek. Now, Sherrod Brown's opponent, Usted, I do have some concerns on his front. I'm not sure about Usted. I think Usted he has the unfortunate reality that he doesn't have even close to the same name ID that Sherrod Brown does. I mean, Sherrod Brown was a senator for years. Everyone knows who he is. He's also had a message on affordability for a long time. I think Sherrod Brown actually has a message that is going to resonate. And I think it's going to be difficult for him to go up against that. But again, you're talking about a plus 16 red state. I mean, Trump won in Ohio by, you know, more than 500,000 votes. Obviously, J.D. Vance is very popular in Ohio. He's one of the most popular politicians in the country in Ohio. You know, there's no way that, you know, if J.D. Vance shows up and campaigns with Vivek and for Usted, I think he may have a better chance. But Usted really needs to get on it. So, you know, in terms of Ohio, I can't speak to the other states and what other things going because I haven't been able to focus on anything else yet. So as we get into the first of the year, the one thing I hope that Republicans started to pay attention to is what's going on in Virginia. This redistricting referendum, they're going to push that forward quickly, and that's going to come up faster than people realize. I mean, the Democrats are going to try and go for 4 seats by doing that. Now, it's not a 100% guarantee because the deal is that a referendum like that, you know, the Virginia voters just voted to not do that. And they make it so that it was a nonpartisan redistricting thing just a few years ago. It was only 5 years ago. So it's going to be quite the push from the Virginia Democrats to be able to do it. But again, we're in a situation right now, and as much as I dislike the whole idea of redistricting, I don't like it. I think it's stupid. I think it's bad that the districts are set up to the point where they're gerrymandered. But this is just the world we live in. I mean, this is the world we live in, so this is what's going to have to happen. So the Democrats are going to push it. The Republicans are going to push it. It's going to happen. So whether or not the Republicans are willing to mount a true defense, that's going to be, I don't know. Go ahead, Jared. Jared's a Democrat in Virginia, so he would probably be able to speak to that.
Not a Democrat, an independent who caucuses with the Democrats.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah. But, you know, I think that is going to happen. I do think J.D. Vance, I think all eyes are on him, right? He has been on the ground. He was in said state, Indiana. Obviously, you know, reactions are pouring in tonight, obviously, after Indiana Senate Republicans in that state thwarted Donald Trump's attempt to redrawn their congressional map. Right. So that's the biggest L so far. I believe the vote count was like 19-31. 10 Democrats jumped on board with the Republicans. Right. And
yeah, it was 21 Republicans voted alongside 10 Democrats that were obviously going to vote against it. Yeah. So correct. That is a big L. But the deal is this: the Republicans in these states, and They can claim that honestly, it's not like it's a loss technically for us, but it's just Republicans just need to get over it. Look, we're in this fight and we're going to have to do it. Okay. These people, we're going to have to fight. There's no question. This is what I was talking about at the open. If Republicans don't want to get in the game and actually do this, the Democrats are going to. They're already doing it. You need to get into the fight and you need to realize what time it is. That's what has to happen. That has to happen. There's no choice.
And I always tell people, right, there's 400 political years until the midterms. I know it's coming up, but there are so many news stories, so many things that can happen in Washington, D.C. And outside the Beltway of what's going to happen. J.D. Vance, right, everyone should be watching him, right, because what happens in the upcoming November, and by the way, guys, within the first week of the new year, we'll have 2 new governors. A governor in Walter and I state, right, here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and then obviously a new governor in New Jersey, right? So new governors will be sworn in by new judges, I believe, next week or the week after that. So, and obviously that was a good night for Democrats. I will say, though, like, Scott Pressler, right, and his team have done so well, right, at getting people registered to vote, right? You notice no one's talking about let's register voters. No, this is a turnout game, right? Who's going to get out and vote, right? And it's not just within those 8-9 months. Early voting starts in some of these states in like a month or 2 before the actual voting day. So this is going to be a turnout game. Obviously, affordability is going to be the number one issue. I think Susie Wild, she was on a podcast the other day. I think it was Benny Johnson or some show, and she said that we're putting Donald Trump. We're going to send him out there. I do think Vivek Ramaswamy's good. He's in the good gracious of Donald Trump. I think he has been Vivek. I think he's a very, very brilliant guy. People remember him when he was on the debate stage. He was the only one that did not attack Donald Trump. You saw the other people did. Nikki Haley, DeSantis, Pence, they all did. So I think Vivek Ramaswamy, I think he's going to be victorious. He's looking good in Ohio right now.
Well, the other thing about Vivek, and it's not just that he's in the good graces of Trump. The thing about Vivek is that, one, he's super rich. Okay, and people forget this. The guy is super wealthy, so he's going to have infinite resources. He's also young, and he's also willing to go out there and put in the work. This is one of the reasons I'm not worried about him. Vivek, of all people, he's got infinite resources. He's young. People forget when he was in Iowa, he did hundreds of events. He did an unbelievable amount of events in just his short period of time that he was doing that. That tells me that he's willing to put in the work. He's willing to do it right. He's willing to show up, and he's actually going to go out and talk to these voters, as many of them as he possibly can, which that's what you have to do. You have to be able to do it. But not only that, he's also making alliances. He's also raising money. He's outraised Amy Acton 10-1 already. This is, he's going to be able to raise the money, and he's also going to be able to self-finance, which is, I'm not sure that it really works for Republicans if they can't self-finance anymore. I'm starting to believe it, or at least on statewide races, at least. Maybe not necessarily in congressional districts, but on statewide races, if you can't win, look at what happened in Virginia, right? So it was a 3-1 spend. So, Spanberger outspent Winsome Sears 3-1. You saw the result. This is just reality. Now, you can make a bunch of arguments of why that was. I still say that the Republicans of Virginia dropped the ball with Winsome. I think they dropped the ball entirely because you don't lose that badly, have a 50% turnout drop down in Southwest Virginia unless you screwed up. And I say that's entirely on the Republican leadership and the Republican consultant class down there in Virginia. They fucked up. They just did. And there's no way around it. Okay. We should have fought a whole lot harder. And the problem I have with it is this is the same deal. Guys, I don't care. This whole idea of candidate quality is meaningless. Okay, candidate quality is important, sure. But candidate quality is also not what the Democrats do. The Democrats don't care. Once they have a candidate, that's it. It can be a goldfish. I've said this a bunch of times on here this show before. The Democrats can run a goldfish for office and win. Okay? They can. They can run a poodle. It doesn't matter to them. They don't care at all. They'll run whoever the hell they want. They will run as many people behind them as they possibly can. They get a full machine. They get a full ground game. They get the whole funding barrage comes in. The Democrats are focused on one thing, winning. That's all they care about. They don't care who it is. Once they have their candidate, okay, the candidate's, Jay Jones. Oh my God. No one dropped him though. Jay Jones text messages. Should he have won? No, he shouldn't have. But the Democrats didn't care. Didn't matter to them. They wanted to win. And the reason they wanted Jay Jones is because they wanted Jay Jones so they could get the redistricting, because that's their next goal. I mean, this is a party that's focused, and the Republicans are not. That's just reality. Go ahead, Chad.
Yeah, if I could just respond to that.
Yeah, you're fine. Go ahead.
Because I do agree, Walter. I when you said Jay Jones, I was thinking the same thing. But remember, if it wasn't for that October surprise, right? I think we would both agree Democrats would not have put Jay Jones. And by the way, that's the race that a lot of people thought, right? When I was in the Spanberger HQ in Virginia while we were waiting for the results to come in, that is the race that a lot of Democrats were bedwetting about, right? They thought the down ballot attorney general race was going to be a very good for Republicans, and honestly, it should have been, right?
Yeah.
A Democrat saying he wants to fantasize about killing the Republican Todd Gilbert and his two children, age 2 and age 5. But it was that October surprise. So it's not like this was like he ran on, this horrible
you're right
story.
about that. And I do think, especially with this early voting stuff, early in-person voting, especially in Virginia, where it's like 45 days of it, I think that, October surprise, I just don't think it matters as much anymore. I really don't. Like, I think an October surprise is not that important anymore. You got to have something that you can run on in like June. Okay, like you have to be hitting hard early, and you have to be doing it a lot, and you have to have the message in the airways. One thing that I think gave Spanberger the biggest advantage in Virginia is that she had ads running back in spring. Okay, like she was from spring all the way through till November. She had ads on TV. Okay, and that's what Winsome didn't do that. Winsome had no money back in the beginning of it, and I also talk about John Reed, the lieutenant governor candidate. He had no money at all. I mean, the guy barely had any dollars. I mean, if you go look at the final couple of weeks, okay, I tell people a lot about this. This is the most embarrassing thing about the Republican Party in Virginia. They should be embarrassed. All of them should be, because John Reed, at the end of it, he had like $50,000 for his final couple of weeks of ad spend. $50,000. That's embarrassing, guys. That is a party that failed to support their candidates. They did not do anything to support them. John Reed got more votes than Winsome Sears, by the way. He got like 50 or 60,000. So you had a candidate that was willing to work, willing to put in the time, willing to do all this, and they still didn't support him. So, to me, the Republican Party in Virginia screwed up royally, and they just, they deserved it. They deserved that loss because how much money was spent, it was nothing close to the Democrats, and they lost, 15, 16 seats in the House of Delegates because of it. That's the results of their failures there. Okay, Patriot Forge or Chad, go ahead.
So October surprises, the worst. It reminds me of the worst October surprise. The Hunter Biden laptop story. Oh my God, worst flop. I mean, I wish it would have landed right, but
well, I mean, it was censored from everywhere, dude. The Hunter Biden laptop was like they literally didn't even let it go out anywhere. That's a whole different story. But this is a whole different scenario. Okay, like you got to remember the difference there is drastic. But go ahead.
Yeah. But what I was wondering is, how many more big time losses do we need to have before we start throwing money at the ground game? Like, how many more does it take?
Well, I mean, listen, the ground game is what I've told everybody. Listen, the Republicans need to have a ground game operation running, and they need to be funding the organizations that do it. Okay, they need to be after it, and they need to be after it forever ago, because this is what I've talked about it endlessly, actually. In fact, I talked about it directly after the loss in November. I talked about how important a ground game is to get up and running, and I said we had 6 months to do it. That's what I said, because, again, if we do not, the Democrats are going to come out here with socialism. They're going to come out here with socialism and pixie dust and magic fairy dust to solve all of the economic problems, and we're going to lose. That's the reality of it, and we better get to it.
We were just talking about the ground game, and I heard you the other night talking about how, you're pretty confident knowing that, both Trump and Vance are going to hit the ground, but is it going to be enough? Are they going to draw the crowds like they did before?
I think that what we'll see is a more targeted rally outreach aspect. So whereas the previous several years, Trump was constantly on tour, going all over the place, these rallies everywhere. What I'm hoping to see is a more focused rallies, events, what do you call them? Representatives of the administration, not just cabinet officials, but also, folks like John Rich and all these other people who, will go on his behalf and talk about some of the wins. The messaging has to hone in, and it has to be very precise about the victories that have already occurred, because there's many of them over the last less than a year. And if he does that, then and
He
some of
knows he's
these,
got to sell. He knows he's got to sell it. I mean, and he's
yeah,
all
I
about
don't,
sells. He's got to sell it. But
I don't
I
know that
mean,
he needs to
Well,
sell
guys,
it.
it's not
I
that he
think
needs to
just
sell it.
make
Listen, guys,
people know.
what he doesn't just need to sell it, okay? The thing that Trump does that the Republican Party doesn't do is Trump brings people. Okay, like he brings people together. He has these huge rallies all over the place. That's something that Trump has done very, very well. The Republicans just don't know how to do it. They don't know how to do it. The Trump rallies is his ground game, essentially. You get all these people out there excited. You get all these people to show up and do things. That is what Trump does better than anybody else. And that's something he has to do. I mean, there has to be some form of it, at least. There has to be rallies. There has to be something going on. It's going to be necessary. And, I don't necessarily want Trump out there every single day. That's not something I think is a good thing. But J.D. Vance, we can use J.D. Vance to our advantage. And that'll actually set him up great for, it'll set him up a lot better for 2028 if he's out there rallying the troops on a regular basis. I think that's important.
Yeah, he needs the reps. He needs the reps.
But here's the thing. What people aren't talking about, is what Walter's been honing in on, what I've been talking about, is some of these key races are in states where the election starts in September.
Yep.
Because of early voting and those kinds of things, right? And some of them are in somewhat, they're battleground territory. These are territories where the left does have some infrastructure and need to be picked up, right? And so that's, I don't think, what some folks on the GOP side fully comprehend, is that the election's already underway. The Democrats are already doing their registration, their outreach, their focus on early voters.
Yeah, well, I mean, the deal is,
you're right, Chris.
Not just that. I mean, the deal is that the Republicans don't have, they simply don't have the same sort of infrastructure that they use for ground game. The only thing they really have is Turning Point. So they better move move on it heavily, is what my point is. They need to get that up and running heavily now.
Which goes to what's happening right now. And I think I watched the interview with I can't forget her name. Harrison. I'm sorry. With Fox News.
Harris Faulkner.
Yeah, the Harris Faulkner. Yeah, there we go. And I should know her name because she was a broadcaster for several years in Kansas City. But Erica said a line that I thought was so important. And it was, we're just trying to focus and we're just trying to focus. She basically, was like, this is what we're doing. We shouldn't have to come down here and explain, because they're trying to focus on what is the operation at Turning Point.
Thank you, Candy Owens.
But what is happening right now is a very tactical attempt to take Turning Point off of their game and off of their focus. Turning Point transformed and delivered the golden goose for President Trump, the youth vote. For the first time in modern history, that was the Democrat Party's golden goose. They can guarantee, if there was one thing they could guarantee, it was the young people were going to vote for their party. And Trump won the majority of the young people. And so I think this is why Charlie lost his life. And I also think this is why Turning Point is under an all-out assault. In my personal opinion, this is what I think. And so it's going to be more important than ever for these people on the right to rally around her and go on the offense to protect what Turning Point is doing, because they're trying to attack not just her, but they're trying to attack specific people who are staffers in charge of the outreach.
Listen, the assault on Turning Point, whether or not it is intentional to do all that, I don't know. But I will say that it doesn't help, no matter who thinks that it doesn't matter why it's being done. That would be the result. It would be the damage, which is what we can't accept. That's why we can't deal with it. And that's why, like I said before, I'm done talking about personalities. And that's the only reason I was going after Candace in the first place for the past couple of days, the past week or two, is because I thought what she was doing at Turning Point was a serious problem. Because we can't lose Turning Point. Turning Point is important. And here's the one advantage, though, guys, that despite all this bullshit that has happened as a result of this woman just going on a warpath against the one organization that, Charlie Kirk built, despite all of that, Turning Point's still setting up chapters. Okay, they're still growing. They're still doing things. And AmFest is about to go off. Okay, AmFest. I'm going to be at AmFest, by the way. I don't know if you guys are going to AmFest. I'll be there. I'll be there for the whole event. So if you guys are going to be there, make sure you look out for me. I'll find you. So you go ahead and shoot me a message if you guys want to meet up while I'm there. I'm going to be doing the show while I'm there. I'll be holding it in my, it'll probably be at a different time, though, because I assume 9 p.m. is probably not going to work. I don't know what time the show will be at. I'll probably have to figure that out when I get down there. I'm not sure what all is going to be happening. So I'll try and do my best to make sure I have the show continuing during that time period. But I will be at AmFest. And I do look forward to seeing that. What I hope is, after being in D.C. this recent time, that I got to talk to a lot of people that were focused. Okay, it was very good to see a bunch of people that were really actually focused on getting things done. So I hope that that's more of the same when I get to Turning Point. That's what I hope. I'm hoping that in Arizona I see a lot more of that. Because I hope that everybody is as focused as some of the people that I just talked to were, because it really does matter. Okay, we've got a couple new speakers up here on stage. What is up, Rilla?
Hey, what's up, Walter? Hey, I think I spoke to you a while back, but thanks for pulling me up. So I know you guys are connected to the day-to-day operations at the GOP as far as the election stuff. And I just heard that last comment, so that's good. And that Turning Point's focus. So I think this is just what I think is some advice, and I'll share this with the people I know. Going into next year, Tyler Boiler already out tonight said that the ground game is getting ready to go in Indiana. He says we're going to get those rhinos out of it. So I saw that promising. I was like, whoa, this is the first message on X I seen him where he's kind of getting back into the groove of things, and kind of pumped me up a little bit. I was like, okay, he's watching, and he's like, I took out way worse rhinos than this won't be a problem. So I got pumped by that. And I think that they can use Charlie's passing for next year as a motivation to get more help right on the ground, and so they can turn out that ground game and let Erica focus on the young women. We need somebody on the conservative side that's able to get young women to vote. We lost the youth women's vote, and every left liberal lady they're ruining this country. I mean, they're to blame. I mean, I know there's immigrants and whatnot.
Listen,
the youth women is not usually a demographic either party goes at. So that's
but that's not ain't true at all,
No,
Jared.
man,
That's not
bad,
true. Hold on,
it's
guys.
bad.
Please don't interrupt here. Just a reminder, everybody, this show is broadcast multiple places. So, one, the Democrats are 1,000% focused on the young women vote. That's just true. That has been a new demographic for them that they have been trying to court desperately. Okay, that is true. I mean, anybody who doesn't think that you're just not paying much attention. But I will say that Erica Kirk, I think she would do a great job bringing in young women to vote. But I will say that more important than that is just making sure that Turning Point continues. It's not just about where they're focused at, which side of the young vote that they're trying to focus on. You just need to continue. And I do think that the Turning Point, the people that work at Turning Point, the people that have been a part of Turning Point, I think they are going to be motivated to go out there and do that for Charlie. I do think that's true. So I look forward to hearing more of that. So hold on a sec. We got a new speaker on stage. What is up, Yellow Jacket? Welcome to the show.
Hi, yeah, thanks. I just wanted to give my quick take. It might not be a popular take, but just so you know, the votes from here on out, they're not going to matter, and because the system is rigged, they don't want you to vote in good people. From here on out, it's going to be rigged. It's a rigged system. They're going to be bringing in whoever they feel.
So Yellow Jacket, I'm going to have to cut you off because this is something that I don't like hearing. And it's not because no, it's not true. Okay. No, it's not
true.
No, it's not true.
Why
okay.
is it that the world's already happening this way?
All right. So I'm just going to have to mute you. So you shut up for a minute because I'm going to have to go off on you. Okay. So someone like you who believes that everything is over and it's all rigged, you're just pointless. You are. You're pointless. You're pointless. What is the purpose of telling or even thinking that? What are you going to do? Are you gonna tweet your way out of your problems? Is that what you're going to do? Are you going to podcast your way out of your problems? Are you going to tell everybody and tell your friends that it's not worth doing? Is that what your goal is? Is that what your hope is? It's all rigged. It's all hopeless. It's all give up now. Shut up. Okay? You are not helpful to anybody. You're not. Telling people in this country that they shouldn't vote is the dumbest thing that you can possibly do. It is retardation on a level that is not seen except by ancient geographic tribes or something. I mean, like, it doesn't matter. There's no other way to describe it. It is the stupidest thing that's possible. Okay? You telling people that they shouldn't vote, that it's all rigged, is wrong. It's just wrong. And you're lazy and you're stupid and you want to tell people that, go tell somebody else. You're not telling me, because the only way to fix our country is to vote. It doesn't matter what side you're on. And I'll tell everybody, I'll tell Democrats, if you want to fix your country, you must vote. That is the only way. This is a country that's run by the people. It has always been run by the people. It'll always be run by the people until at some point then Caesar rises and the republic falls. This country is run by the people. And it is our fault that we are in the scenario we're in the first place. You know, if you don't like what's happening in our country, it's because we didn't vote properly. Okay, it's not like because there's some special control over top of the country that this happened. Okay, that's not why this happened. This happened because we got lazy. We got lazy and we started voting in bad people. And you can laugh all you want, Yellow Jacket, but you're a fucking moron. And no one cares about you. And that's why no one will listen to you and no one should listen to you. No one should, because you are one of these people that tells everybody they shouldn't vote. And anybody, and I do mean anybody, that tells you that you shouldn't vote, those are the people that you should ignore completely for all of human history. Okay? Anybody that tells you not to vote, that is not somebody to listen to. I don't care if they're left. I don't care if they're right. But if they tell you not to vote, then they should be ignored because they were irrelevant. Okay? You're not going to fix your problems by not voting. Not voting is the worst thing you can do. The only way we fix anything in this country is by getting more people and more engaged. So Yellow Jacket, you can stay on the show, you can listen. But as far as I'm concerned, you have an IQ of a small refrigerator. Okay? That's how it works. Okay. Now that I'm done ranting about that, Patriot Forge, welcome to the show. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, thanks again, Walter, for having me on. Great take just now, what you just said about the elections. Also about the rhinos, congressman. Also, I know in Indiana, great, we got to get those rhinos out of there. But what about the 13 congressmen that voted against President Trump's executive order yesterday, including Congressman Chris Smith? I would want, like, Mike Crispy to challenge Chris Smith and knock him out. It's in my district. I'll be working on it if he runs against them.
Well, anybody who votes against anything that Trump's trying to do, some executive orders, all this stuff, guys, this is what I keep talking about. The Republicans in Congress, this is why I say voting is so important, okay? And this is why voting is so important. If you want to fix things, the primaries, baby. That's the place to be. Okay, and every single one of these people that continuously challenges Trump on everything, they should get primaries. They should. They should be worried that a primary is on the way. And that's the only way. I mean, the same thing for the Democrats, too. If you don't like what your Democrat congressman's doing, you set up a primary and you primary them. I mean, the days of all of these people, they live in districts, especially when they're like plus 25 districts on one side or the other. Okay, they don't think that you matter. Okay, they think they're going to always win, that they're going to stay in Congress forever because they're an incumbent and they live in a safe district and they assume everybody will be okay. That shouldn't be the case. You should be concerned every single election that you're going to lose your seat. That's what should happen. And it's the only way. It's the only way. And, you know, and a couple people are commenting saying elections are rigged is not the same thing as just saying do not vote. That's not what I'm talking about, okay? The idea of rigged elections is also not necessarily true, okay? If you don't like what mail-in voting is, if you don't like what early voting is, then you need to elect people to switch that and fix it, okay? Again, it all comes back to voting. If they do mail-in voting and they do early voting, then you got to go out and do mail-in voting and early voting. I may not like that system. I would love for us to live in a world where it is same in-person, one-day voting. That is it. As a paper ballots on the day of the election. I would love that. That would be amazing. We don't live in that world. Okay? We don't live in that world. That's not the way it works. Okay? So until we get back to that, we better start playing by the same rules that everybody else is. That's the only option. Okay? So even there's no other option. Okay? If you don't like mail-in voting, Do they offer mail-in voting in your area? Well, then you better go get mail-in ballots. Okay, do you not like early voting? Is it offered in your area? Well, then you better go early vote. Okay, there's if you live in a world where there's certain options and certain rules to elections, this is the only way to play. You have to play by the game that is set up for you. You don't get to bitch about it afterwards and then complain, well, it was rigged. No, it wasn't rigged. They played by the rules and you didn't. That's the difference. And that's what the Democrats who don't care. They say, okay, mail-in ballots, go get them. They say, okay, early vote, go get it. It doesn't matter to them. And for some stupid reason, there's still a bunch of people out here that's, oh my goodness, we shouldn't have this. Well, we do. Okay, we may not like it, but we have it. So get the fuck over it and go figure it out. My God, it's annoying hearing it from people. Okay, what's up, Chris? I know you're about to jump in here.
Respond to that?
Yeah, go ahead, Jared.
Yeah, Walter, I just wanted to say, you're absolutely correct. Like, oh my goodness, because it's like, even when I used to be a Republican, just like a couple of years ago, people were like, well, leave the Republican. No, I'm not. Right. Even if you think me voting for Nikki Haley is insane. Right. No, like and you know, I'm very much convinced that a lot of these people, whether it's your crazy uncle on Thanksgiving Eve or someone on X saying, oh, just don't vote. Just like when I was knocking on doors for Spanberger, I was talking with this gentleman here in the Hampton Roads area. I'm sure an area you know well, Walter. I knocked on his door, and 26-year-old said he, first home buyer. He was like, everything's rigged. I'm not voting for them. I'm like, are you just going to drive your way out of it? Or
That's
are you
right.
just going to pay
They're
your way
going
out
to
of it?
tweet your way
I'm
out of it, Jared. They're going to tweet their way out. That's my favorite.
At this point,
that's my favorite.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so crazy because, like, we are all American citizens, right? And these same people, right, who don't go out and vote, who don't vote in their primaries, who don't vote in their gubernatorial races, right, their mayor, their vice mayor races, are the same ones who complain and yell horse shit every single time. Like, go put
listen.
on.
Here's the deal to me, Jared.
Quiet.
This is the thing that's annoying to me is like, guys, if it was not rigged, if it was all rigged, and then we would have no chance. Oh my God, it's all over. You can't do anything. It's all rigged. It's all over. Why is Trump in office then? Like what? Trump is in office. If you don't remember that, right? So what? Oh, it's rigged too. Now what? They got to him. Oh, yeah, that's it. Like what the hell's the matter with you? Are you retarded? Like I mean, this is why I say that. How low of IQ are you to think that everything's rigged after we just won? After, like, look at what happened. The array of things that happened to Trump, right? You know, that they arrested him. You know, they did all this stuff. They prosecuted every single person that was close to him. You know, every possible imaginable thing, and he still won the election. They nearly killed him. Like all of this stuff, and you still think it's rigged? I mean, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I mean, Walter, you're probably a Candace Owens follower at that point, is my only assumption.
But it's also that is also a strategy for socialists and communists.
Well, that's true. I mean, it's always trying to degrade the system. That's what the idea is. You always want to make sure that people don't believe that their vote matters, because the less people are involved, the less people you have to convince. That's the reality of it, and it's not a good thing.
You guys, with all the respect, you guys, this came from former then President Donald Trump.
No,
right?
it didn't. Listen, it's not entirely from him.
It did.
No, it didn't. Listen, guys, it's not just from Trump, okay? And that's not entirely true. And what Trump is talking about for the previous election, nobody believes that Joe Biden got 90 million votes, dude. Okay, that's a whole different conversation. The mail-in ballots and stuff like that. The problem is not that, though. Okay. No one believed that Joe Biden was the most popular person that ever existed. And if he was, why does no one talk about him anymore? Why do no Democrats ask for the Joe Biden endorsement? I mean, just be realistic here, people.
Yes, you don't think TDS gets people out to vote? It does. So when this happened, I told people in 2020, Democrats did a great job at politicizing the COVID-19 pandemic, convincing people that the world is like honestly, I think every single vote contribute to Joe Biden.
Listen to me again. The mail-in. The mail-in.
Fear-mongering.
No, I don't think so at all. The mail-in ballot, the amount of mail-in ballots. Okay, that's the problem. The amount of mail-in ballots, that was the biggest problem, and that's why a lot of that stuff went away when you came to the next election, because a lot of these states said, okay, we're not doing that anymore. That's what happened. Okay, hold on here. But we do. Go ahead, Keymaker, and then we got another speaker here. So go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you were touching on a topic I've been looking into real deep lately and talking to everybody, trying to get more information about what, what I'm hearing rumbling about what's going to come out about the, the election problems. And this is like a key point from everybody that I've been talking to. And I think this really kind of drives like the difference between the Democrat position and the Republican position. So the Republican position is essentially any votes in the future need to be accurate, they need to be lawful, and they need to be counted correctly. On the Democrat side, it's just about winning. It's about winning the next election. It's not about securing the next election. It's about winning the next election. So I think that I'm not saying that we're doing the wrong thing by saying that, by doing it that way, but I would be happy if just from this moment on, we always had free, secure, and fair elections in the U.S. You know what I mean? And we
Listen,
never had this question
listen again to me, and I agree. Listen, I would love to have secure elections and all this stuff. I agree with you 100%. But listen to me. The people that sit there and say we shouldn't do early voting, we shouldn't do mail-in voting, guys, I would love for that not to be the case. I would love it. It'd be great. Be awesome if we had same day, in person, mail-in, no mail-in ballots, none of that shit. All it is in-person paper ballots counted by person, counted by grandma. Okay, that's what I'd love. No machines, none of that shit. Okay, I would love that. That'd be great. We don't live in that world. It's not there. Okay, if we wanted to get, if there was legislation that forced that, that'd be great. But we don't live in that world, and until we do, everyone needs to shut up about it and go figure out how we have to win. Okay, that's just how it is. If you can do mail-in ballots and you can do absentee ballots and you can do this kind of ballot and you got to have 80 days of early voting, then fuck it, you got to do it. Okay, this is just you play by the rules, or the people that are playing by the rules are going to beat you, and they will. And that's just how it is. And the people that complain about it, you can complain about it all you want. The only way to fix that would be use the system that exists currently to get people in office that would fix the problem. That's how you fix it. So until you get to that point, shut up about it. It doesn't matter. Okay? All right. Dusty Rhodes, you're up here on stage. Go ahead.
I'm going to have to bow out because I got to get my little dude to bed, okay? But I just wanted to tell you, man, it's great having you, your show back up. I hope you had a good time at Santos Claus. And
it was great. It was a good time.
And it's also, just on a final point, it's an annoying misunderstanding of how government works to pretend as if this is going to happen before November's election, right? Like, okay, if you're that passionate about it, what are you doing at the state level? Because it's going to take a constitutional amendment so you can get 300,000 signatures to get it on the ballot in time for August, to get it on the ballot in time to enforce it before November. It's a fundamental misunderstanding of how government works. And the problem with a lot of folks, no knock on the folks on the platform, but the problem with a lot of these folks are they see Ilhan Omar, they see the crazies at the top of the list. They see, obviously, they're very passionate about Donald Trump. Maybe some Republicans are Republicans. They don't like Donald Trump, whatever the reasoning is. But if you have an issue with how voting is taking place, then who is your Speaker of the House? Who is your Senate Majority Leader? Who is your governor? Who is your county executive? Who is your elections commissioner, right? Because those are the people that actually are going to matter when it comes to how voting is done in your local city, your local county, and in your state. It's not Donald Trump. And that's the problem with these folks. They don't want to show up at their city council meeting. They don't want to show up at their county council meeting. They don't even know who represents them. And you're not going to make any change when you do that. And so that's my little stump real quick before I bow out, is it's just not realistic by August and November. So you either suck it up and learn the rules and play by the rules and win, or you lose, because there's no silver medal in politics.
That's right. You have to play by the same rules as everybody else. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And there's no other choice, dude. We have no choice. Okay, Dusty Rhodes, you came up on stage. What's up, Dusty?
Hey, Walt, man. Blessings on your family, brother.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
You bet. On the black pill thing, if anybody's listening, they feeling black pill. Well, man, you just better learn to survive. Man, you better learn to grow your own food. Maybe go to the range, learn how to shoot.
Learn how to go into a commune. That's what you should do. Get onto a commune.
Why are you even going to work, bro? Just
that's
stay
right.
home.
Listen, here's what I try and tell the black pillars. Did you know that at any moment a solar flare could fry the entire country and we could all burn to death in an instant. Did you know that? That's something that could happen at any moment. You should be worried. Be very concerned. Tomorrow, an asteroid could come off of a comet and completely destroy the entire planet. Did you know that? That's something that can happen. You know, at any moment, a sun could explode. A star from a distant galaxy could explode, and the whole planet could be vaporized. You should go hide in your basement and never come out ever again. That's what you should do.
I have a better one, Walter. Pete Hegseth can get very close to the nuclear football
Oh.
when he's drunk. When he's drunk.
Yeah, that's nonsense, Jared. Pete Hegseth is doing a fantastic job, and you can complain about him all you want. He's one of the most popular people that the military has ever seen, Jared. You know,
He's a drunk.
No,
That's
he's not.
and we know.
No, he's not a drunk, Jared. He's not a drunk, and you're not going to. Yeah, we're not going to play that game in here. We're not playing that game in here. Okay, let's see here. Musk's laptop. You came up here. What's up, Musk's?
What's up, bro? I would argue that the information for the 2020 election interference and theft came from the United States Army when they confiscated the Brussels servers, and also Tina Peters when she backed up the information of the stolen election.
Well, listen to me. The stolen election argument, and people can talk about it all you want, until this has been proven by somebody 100%. The reality is it is kind of irrelevant at this point. I'd love to say we could fix this problem, we could fix it, but until we have some sort of hardcore proof and it's in court and it's proven and done, it's just not gone anywhere. So I'd love to have this argument. I'd love to say it's true. And I don't believe that Joe Biden got 90 million votes. Not a real person believes that. I'm sorry. I just don't buy it, guys. Listen, he got more votes than Joe Biden. I mean, than Barack Obama. Really? Yeah, sure. I mean, the mail-in ballot is the problem there. Okay, the mail-in ballots, I think, is where the real issue came from. It didn't come from the machines. I don't think all that's true. But, you know, until I could be proven wrong. But again, to me, what I'm trying to say on this show specifically and from here forward is that I'm more interested in how we win. Okay, and I don't want to go backwards. I think that there's a couple things we have to do to win. And by the way, is one of them has to be accountability for some of the corrupt government officials from the previous administration. I think that I've said this 1,000 times on this show. Everyone's heard me say this. Accountability for the corruption and doing all this stuff is mandatory. It's not optional. There has to be some sort of accountability for the intelligence agencies that opened up counterintelligence operations on the sitting president of the United States. Those fucking people need to be in prison. They have to be. Okay? Because if you don't do that, we don't have a country. If the intelligence agencies can just decide, well, they don't like this president and open up a counterintelligence operation, that's not acceptable, okay? That means our votes are meaningless. That's, if you want to talk about trying to be blackpilled on something, that would be the only way that I think a lot of people that actually pay attention could be blackpilled, would be if you do not have accountability for people that tried to overthrow the will of the people by force, how do you fix that? There's only one option. Those people have to be in prison. They should be. And it was treasonous.
Yeah, they got pardons already. They got pardons.
Yeah, no, they didn't. Hey, hold on just a second. Just let me correct something here. No, they didn't. Not all the people that do. Who are you referring to, Jerry? You're talking about the people from the J6 committee?
Yeah, the 1,600 people that you said to, they all got pardons. Every last one of them.
No, they didn't. That's nothing to do with the J6 stuff, dude. I'm talking about Bill Price Stab, Jake Baker, all the people, Jim Baker, all the people that opened a counterintelligence operation on the sitting president. None of those guys got pardons, dude. The Crossfire Hurricane people, the Crossfire Hurricane people, none of those people got pardons, dude.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, those people did not get pardons. Sure, that is correct.
They should be in prison. All of them should be. Every single one of the FBI agents that signed a document that we have, I can pull it up and show it to you, that says that they opened a counterintelligence operation on the sitting president of the United States. Prison for life. You should be hung by a gibbet outside of the White House with a giant sign that says traitor. That's what should happen to those people. Those people should be traitors to this country. Okay, they are. They tried to overthrow a duly elected president. That's what happened. And everybody knows it. That's the problem. And there has to be accountability for those people, guys. There has to be. There's no question there.
If we're speaking realistically, I think we could all agree. Obviously, that is a wish for a lot of people.
Very realistically, Jared.
I am speaking realistically.
Okay, do you want to
guys, one at a time, please.
Yeah, so
Walter,
we can take a vote. The the hands of this space, I think we would all agree that. I mean, we've seen it right here today. Letitia James, right? Another grand jury, and I think Walter's talking about the Russia collusion, fake people, and the 51 intel experts who said the Hunter Biden story was not real.
No,
There
that's
should
not
be
Jared.
accountability.
Jared, that's not who I'm talking about again. Okay, the 51 intelligence.
Russia people, right?
Listen, I'm talking about the Bill Price tab. Okay, so Jared, if you obviously you're not very well read on this. Okay, so Jim Baker, Bill Price tab, which is a guy that no one even talks about. There's a whole list of people that were in a counterintelligence operation that was opened on a sitting president. Those people are who I'm talking about. It's a very specific group of people. Okay, it's a very specific group of people. We have all of their names. They should be in prison. There's no question about it. There's no question. There's no, oh, maybe it was weird. No, we know it. We have the documents. We see their names. They signed it. They signed a counterintelligence operation to be opened on a sitting president. Prison. Prison for all of them. For life. Hang them by a gibbet. That's what should happen. Okay? I'm not talking about the 51 people in the, the Hunter Biden laptop shit. I'm not talking about any of that. Okay? I'm talking about the people that opened a actual counterintelligence operation on the sitting president. Prison. That's the only option for those people.
I gotcha. But would you agree with me, Walter?
President.
Would you agree with me, Walter, that the chances for them to be in prison, let alone hung, is pretty small right now?
It shouldn't be. Those people should be shot in the street by a firing squad. That's what should happen to those people. Whether or not it happens or not, listen. My point is
because of corrupt federal judges. Is that what you're talking about?
Hold on a second here, guys. The only way that this happens is that the DOJ gets off its ass and figures that out. Here's the problem, though. Okay, so there is a general problem on this. The general problem on this is that you don't know how to do it because it's never happened before. There's no precedent for when the government tries to overthrow itself. Like, I mean, I don't know how you prosecute that. How do you prosecute intel officers from the sitting executive branch tried to overthrow the president? I don't know how you prosecute it other than treason. I mean, I don't know.
The military handle it.
I mean, that's what I would say. There's something has to be done.
Democrats. They know how to.
Apparently, that's true. Yeah, that I'll agree with you. Apparently, the Democrats know how to prosecute people way better than we do. I mean, that's something that's just true.
They know how to throw Steve Bannon in jail for 30 days in D.C. They know how to throw.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, ask the Democrats.
I mean, that's not even. That's not like I wish he was joking, people, but at least that's what I'm saying. Like, this is what drives me crazy. When you look at the Republicans, it's like they keep saying, "Well, we can't do this. We can't do this." Like, why do you suck at this? Like, I mean, the Democrats could do it easily. They got Donald Trump arrested. They raided his house at Mar-a-Lago. Like, how did they do it? You guys just act. I mean, I guess the argument is that they have the judges on their side or something. I guess that's the argument, but I don't know. Figure it out. I mean, that's my point. My point is at the end of the day, my point is the same, that there is a mandatory accountability that has to happen for certain people in this country. Because if we don't have that, then a lot of people are going to just look at it and say, well, the intelligence agencies are the one to get to make the decisions. And that's just true. Okay, I do want to move on to a couple other people here. So, Adam, you came up on stage. What is up, Adam?
What's up, Walter? Doing well, man. Celebrating my 45th birthday. So
happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Adam.
Appreciate it, Jared. Appreciate it. You sound hopefully not as sweet as Marilyn Monroe, right? But yeah, let's say I agree with you, Walter. What you were saying in regards to the what's available. That's one of the things that when I do spaces last year, I was telling people, if it's in your place, you want to get in there and vote early if you can. If you get a mail-in ballot, go spoil it there. When you're voting, and then just do an in-person voting at that point, right? Or whatever the kind of ballot it is. I forgot what kind it is, but if that system is there. But I would say, fight for the SAVE Act. Try to fight for that, because that is the way.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
It would be amazing. Wouldn't it be incredible if we, had some Republicans that had a spine and managed to pass some of this stuff in Congress? Wouldn't that be nice? I said that earlier. Yeah. The only thing I want for Christmas this year is for Republicans in Congress to grow a goddamn spine. That would be nice. I'd love that. But, they're just as weaselly and useless as they've always been. So, oh well.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's part of the problem that you were talking about earlier. Why isn't this happening? Is because some of those people were in on that coup. You know, some of these rhinos.
Well, listen to me. Like I said,
that's
the name.
my personal view. The uniparty rhinos, you know, that
Well,
work with the
here's the
Democrats
real
hand in
thing, and this
hand.
is the name of the
You
show.
know?
The reason this is the name of the show, Adam, is because I think the Republicans, some of them like being losers. They are losers and they enjoy losing, and they like being losers because it's just easier to lose. It's easier to be
They
a
probably
loser.
profit from it too.
Yeah, well, they do. That's how it's easier to raise money when you're just complaining all the time. But, you know, this is why we have to pressure these people. There has to be real pressure put on these people. And, you know, here's the deal. What I was talking about at the beginning of the show, I've got something coming on this, by the way, is that coming into the beginning of the year, I think things are going to change because, you know, someone needs to go start asking some real questions in these people. You know, when the Indiana Senate sits there and rejects a map, or when these Republicans refuse to ask questions on stuff, no one ever shows up to say, hey, what the hell's the matter with you? Well, I think we can fix that. So, all right.
Have you seen the breaking news,
One last
Walter?
thing, Walter. Hold on, Jared.
There's-
I'm gonna land my plane. It's just one last thing.
Yes,
I
go
know
ahead.
you don't have your hand up or anything, but let me finish up here. Yeah, in regards to you know, the push for the Save Act, I think with the unveilings of things that we'll find in Venezuela, you know, the combination of that and the Serbian servers, along with the German hacker, the Italian hacker that saw what they flipped the vote in Germany in 2020. I think a combination of all those things coming out, and hopefully a lot of other things that I'm not going to mention at this point that I'm hoping come out.
Listen,
You know, will
if there's
help
more
push the Save Act.
well,
you
if
know?
we have some more information that comes out and does that stuff, I'd love to hear it. Maybe that'd be great. But again, to me, I'm more focused on what we can do right now. I mean, what we can do right now is we can go slap around this stupid congressman that believe that we're just living in 1995 and having a nice little policy debate over coffee. Like, I mean, it's just obnoxious to me. So we just need to go pressure these people and make sure that they actually feel some pressure, which I think we can do. So, okay, let's see here. Guys, before we move on here, we've got about 40 or so minutes left in the show. Make sure you guys share this show out. Make sure you guys share the link out. I'm Walter Kurt. If you guys are just joining this show on any of the other streams, you're on Rumble, Substack. Make sure you guys hit the smash the like button, smash the follow button, and hit the subscribe button. Make sure you guys leave a comment if you can tell me what you think about the show. I always do read all the comments. Thank you guys for being here. Make sure you guys share this out. And guys, if you go to WCDispatch.com, or you can subscribe to me on X, support this show, support me. I do this entirely independently, guys. There's no one else behind me. There's no one else helping me. This show is run by me. This is all of the content that is written for this show, the monologues, all this stuff. No one helps me do any of this stuff. I don't have any supporters, no backers, none of that. This is just my entire show is run by me. So if you want to support me, go to x.com, go to @myprofile, and you guys can be a subscriber there. Or you can go to wcdispatch.com and you can be a subscriber there. All future exclusive content will always be released on wcdispatch.com first. And a big announcement that will be coming out at wcdispatch.com coming into the first of the year. And you want to be subscribed to that because I'm going to have some very exclusive content that's going to be coming out directly on that. So make sure you guys check that out. But we'll keep moving here. So guys, make sure you share the space. If you guys are on the X space, make sure you guys share the space out and let's keep moving here. So if you guys have hands up, apparently hands are broken for me because X hates me. So whoever has their hand up, go ahead.
Yeah, I have mine up for a while.
Oh, what's up, Rilla?
Yeah, mine would be quick because I don't think you saw my hand. A couple points, and then I'll let you go, Southern. So tonight we had our first meeting for primaries for Senate. So we are gonna potentially back a candidate that's gonna run in Mississippi. And just by them doing that, you know, their opponent's already researching. So we're putting fire under some of these establishment candidates establishment senators. So even put candidates out there, let them know that we got people running against them. That even helps. And then I like what you said about things we have that are currently being worked on with elections. The DOJ Civil Rights is doing the voter rolls right now, so they're getting those cleaned up. And then the second thing is Supreme Court has the no counting ballots after Election Day. So those are two huge things. And then in 2024, we beat them at their game of going out to vote early. We smashed on Election Day with Trump on the ballot. So yeah, we can beat them at their game, even though we know they cheat. And just go with the flow. And then the last thing I'll say, and Mark Rasmussen report said that accountability for all the crimes is a big issue with the young voter, and they want to see it burn down up in DC. And that's something we need to do because the young people are pissed. They're not going to vote for this again. They're just not. So we do need a big change.
Yeah, well, we have to have some sort of change. And like I said, the Republicans need to do something to actually go forward. Southern Belle, what is up? How are you?
I'm good. How about you all?
I'm doing just fine.
Great. Great. Again, your daughter is a cutie. She's a cutie.
Appreciate
But
that.
what's with the Indiana Senate? Are they a bunch of Ken dolls?
Yes.
They're a bunch of Ken dolls. We already have enough
we
in
can call them
Congress.
Ken dolls. We can call them, I don't know. I've got a lot of choice words I'd use this evening.
Well, I'm Southern, so there's my line. But we have a bunch of Ken dolls. And there is good news. Tina Peters is being pardoned by Trump, which surprised me because she was state convicted, not federally convicted.
Well,
So
I mean,
this
she's
is gonna
pardoned.
be
She's going to be
interesting.
pardoned of any of the federal crimes, but no, she's not being. There's a couple people that were posting saying she was being released. No, she's not, guys. She's got state crimes on top of that. So I'm kind of surprised she was still keeping her. They were keeping the federal indictments or any of the federal charges or in her anyway. They probably should have gotten rid of those a while ago.
Yeah, but they have her in for 8 years. All she did was find out what was going on. And as a result of that, they put her in prison.
Well, I mean, again, for
Whistleblower.
Tina Peters, this is a person that shouldn't be in prison anyway. She shouldn't be. They should release her, but they won't. So, don't expect to see her out.
Well,
she actually didn't commit any crimes, Southern. What she did was backed up the data before it got wiped, which is legal and within her jurisdiction for what her job description was.
Absolutely, absolutely. And they used it against her, though. It was not a fair trial. But Tina Peters, I'll walk with that woman every day. She was doing the right thing. And I know she's got some health problems, so that's what concerns me. When you're in an environment like that, it's pretty depressing. And she has no business to be there. So I think with Trump, he'll stay on top of this because she's a female. He will want to get her out. So there'll be some pushing going on behind the scenes. But I'm really upset in Indiana. I cannot believe they say, oh, no, we can't do that. There won't be any Democrat seats left. Well, let's just explain what's going on in Massachusetts. We do not have a Republican congressperson in Massachusetts in D.C.
No, we do
I didn't
not.
hear anybody screaming.
Well, I mean, guys, this is just how this has been for a long time now. So
God. It's just very upsetting and it's frustrating because it feels like, and I try to talk to people, they feel like they're losing. We're losing every day. We're losing. I go, these are all blue cities. It's a reality. What we have to do is what we know what to do. And that is get involved in our local community, talk about the elections, let them know how important it is. And when people get the candidate, we need to know who this candidate is. And what I would love for you, if we could get these candidates to come on your show and get to know them so that we can get the word out all over X.
Well, I mean, as we get into the midterms, I'll be inviting candidates as they win their primaries and they're in their primaries. I'll probably be talking to a lot of them. Now, before I've had candidates that come in to shows, I'm going to have to give them a bit of coaching because some of them are just terrible at this. They come in here and they give their, listen who I am. I've got this great grand idea that nobody gives a shit about. Like nobody cares, dude. Like the only way, listen, and if there's anybody who's in the show or listening right now on any of the program, any other platforms, let me tell you, when you join a show like this, when you come into a call-in show, when you come into something like this, for the love of God, don't sit there and talk about yourself. Have a reaction to the news. Okay, have a reaction to what we're talking about and be able to talk off the cuff. Because if you give a scripted speech, nobody is going to give a shit. Nobody. No one cares about your grand plans. No one cares, dude. Okay, like in your district that might work, but you're on a national platform. Okay, like this is a nationally broadcast show. No one cares about your silly little plans. No one cares. Sorry. I mean, like you may like that. You may love your plan. Your plan may be brilliant. It may be the best plan that's ever planned. but no one cares. Okay. So, you just need to realize that. So if you come onto these shows, please, for the love of God, make sure you actually talk about what they're talking about and don't give a long speech about who you are. The best way for you to gain followers as somebody who's running for office is to have a reaction to what's happening right now online, in the news. All of that stuff is the only way. Otherwise, people just don't care. So hopefully people take that message and actually pay attention to it, because if you don't, you will be ignored. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but you will be. I mean, because no one will care.
Absolutely.
Hey, Southern, what did you mean by there's no, because it's been like that for years. So what did you mean? You do know that obviously that's how Massachusetts has been, right? That it
Yeah, since the
obviously what's
90s.
happening.
It's been since the 90s. No, what she's
Right.
talking about, is
I'm just
no, I know what you meant. So I know what you mean. She's talking about Indiana not moving forward because they're complaining. Well, then the Democrats wouldn't have any seats. Well, Massachusetts hasn't had any Republican seats for many, many years, so no one's complaining about that. That's the problem.
That's not a good correlation, because it's not a good
Yeah,
correlation.
it is.
Because
It is a good
obviously
correlation because Massachusetts, 40% of them vote for Republicans. Okay,
it wasn't by gerrymandering. That's my point. Obviously, what's happening in Indiana, the attempt is to obviously redraw on the congressional map. If they don't
now
vote
listen,
for federal
listen to me.
representation.
What do you mean it
that's not
wasn't?
my fault. That's
Hold
the
on a minute,
voters.
guys. Hold on. Stop arguing. Just listen for a second here. Just stop. Hold on a second here. Just stop. Please don't interrupt, guys. Okay. So, what do you mean it wasn't by gerrymandering? Yes, it was. Every state where there's nobody that is a Republican, if there's any state where it is 40% of them in a federal election vote for the Republicans and they have zero representation, you can bet your ass that it's gerrymandered. Now, listen.
Can you tell me
listen,
the year?
guys, hold on. Just stop for a second, okay? Listen to me. Gerrymandering, as much as people don't like it, exists and has existed forever. Okay, it exists in every state. Every state has had gerrymandering. It has always happened. It will always happen until there's some major legislation pushed to change it. I don't complain about gerrymandering because it's just how it works. Okay, it's just how it is. It's existed in this country for hundreds of years. I mean, or over 100 years at least. So, I don't know when Massachusetts changed their maps last. I have no idea, but I guarantee you that they gerrymandered the shit out of it because 40% of that state votes for Republicans and they don't have any representation in Congress. So, I mean, that's just how it is. But again, it's not worth arguing about. Okay, it's not because it just has to be done for the places that we can do it in.
But the Republicans have failed to take advantage of opportunities to get parity.
Oh, I agree. Listen, this is what the name of this space this evening is. The Republican Party wants to lose because the Indiana senators are weaselly, useless morons that couldn't realize that. Well, we have an opportunity and we should take the opportunity and do it, no matter where it is. Okay, the deal is the Republicans. We have opportunities to give us more seats in Congress, and we should do that. Okay, any opportunity that is available to gain us more seats in the House that is benefit to us, if it's legally available, we must do it. Okay, that's the only way this has to be looked at. We have to look at every single opportunity that is available. If you can redistrict, then redistrict. If you can bring in more seats this way, do it that way. It doesn't matter how it works. If you can challenge the Voting Rights Act and get that overthrown and make sure that you remove racial gerrymandering, that will be huge. Okay, that's a massive thing for us, by the way. That right there is one of the most important things to happen for Republicans in Congress this coming year. The Supreme Court, if they throw that out, that could give us upwards of 15 to 20 seats if we redraw the maps correctly. Now, again, everyone don't count your horses on that, though, because if they undo that, you then have to get the maps passed by your current seats in Congress. Then you have to get them all done. You have to get them through the courts. It is a time crunch. Okay, it's going to be very busy trying to be able to get that done. So people better lock in and actually get it done if they want it, because this is the kind of things we have to do to win. If that passes through the Supreme Court, they may not strike it down. We don't know. Okay, so these are big things that are coming up. So this year is going to be very interesting with the redistricting going on, with the Voting Rights Act being challenged. All this stuff is big stuff. So, if you think this matters, then you better, even if they redo it, and then you should be calling so like say you're in any of these states that this could affect, okay? So look up your state, look and see if racial gerrymandering affects your state, figure that out. If it is figured out, then you better be calling your delegate, calling your state senator and asking them, hey, have you guys thought about a map yet? Have you guys figured this out yet? That's something everyone should be doing. If you guys think it's going to get thrown out, which honestly, I don't really know what the argument to keep it would be. So I think it's very, very likely that it'll get thrown out. So you should be calling your delegates. All of you should be calling your delegates in every single state and asking them, hey, have you guys looked at a map yet? Have you prepped a map yet? Do that. And if they're not, then you better get on your delegate to get his ass in gear and do it right away. That's what should be done. That's what everyone should be doing. Everyone should be focused on that. That's something that is very important because that has to happen. Okay. Got another person coming up here on the stage. If you have your hand up, you are welcome to respond or talk.
Okay, Walter. So the Democrats have gerrymandered Massachusetts 6 times, the most recent being 2020, again drawn by the Democratic-controlled legislator and signed by the governor only after minor changes, strongly Democratic leaning. The most effective the most effective one they did was 2011, and the first time they did it was in 1812. So it was 1812, 1980, 1990, 2000, 2010, 2011, and 2020.
Okay, yes, and that just answers the question. I mean, listen to me again. What I've said is that gerrymandering happens, and I don't really people do it. Okay, this happens. Okay, gerrymandering is not a great thing, but this is also, like I said at the beginning of this show, it's the world we live in. Okay, so just get over it. I mean, like anybody who wants to complain about gerrymandering, well, to the winner goes the spoils, and that's just how it has worked in this country for a very long time. So, and then what's crazy about it is that somehow the Republicans have inverted that to the winner does nothing and just, bitches when they lose. It's very annoying. I cannot stand it. Okay, Hampshire, you came up here to join the show. What's up, Hampshire?
Hey, how's it going? It's Hemisphere, actually.
Okay, see, I'm looking at the screen in very, very small letters. What's up?
It's all good. It's all good. No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on. I would just like to say the topic is actually super correct and accurate. Republican Party wants to lose. Listen, we have to understand where the Republican Party, what it is and what it stands for, and that's intellect and prosperity and financial, I would say, or just being balanced the way you do things, right? So now we're going to an area where we're electing representatives that don't follow those philosophies. They're, all over the place. They don't really have any background for what they stand for, and it's pretty sad to see where it's headed. Democrats are worse off actually than the Republicans, and I feel like a lot of people are being more independent when it comes to their policies because the Republicans now are sideways. They're just all over the place. And just me as an American, as a citizen, I see it as there's no foundation anymore. Like it's either you're MAGA or you're nothing in the Republican Party, which is strange. And I feel like the Republican Party is swaying towards a different way of thinking that's a little bit more extreme. And that's not the Republican Party. Republican Party is being more conservative and being more organized, strategic.
Well, okay. So here's the problem, though. You're wrong about that because the Republican Party that you're talking about, one, they have lost every single time they've ever done anything. Okay, like the Republican Party as a Republican, like the old school GOP, is retarded. Like they haven't won any serious elections since Bush. And Bush won because, he won one election. He would have lost that next election if it wasn't for 9/11. No, make no mistake about that, okay? And then since then, the Republicans have not really done a good job of almost anything. So they are not very good when they're in charge. The problem is that the Republicans live in a world where they think MAGA is not good for them, and they refuse to accept populism. Now, the idea that people are becoming more conservative in this country is actually not true. As much as I'd love that to be true, it's not true. The younger generation is not moving more conservative. They're moving more farther to the right, sure, but they're not moving more conservative, okay? Conservatism, as much as I love conservatism, no one in the younger generations is a Burkean conservative like I am, okay? Very few of them have even read Burke, even knows who Burke is. They don't think about that stuff. There's a lot of people out here that they claim that they're conservatives, but then they find out that they're not really conservatives when presented conservative principles. You can go look at Nick Fuentes as a good example of this. This guy's a right-wing populist, but he is not a conservative. And he openly says that, and he knows that. He's a nationalist, but he is not a right-wing Burkean conservative. That is not who he is. And that is what the majority of the young men in the country are. And that's mostly because we have failed in a messaging platform to figure out how to tell people how to do things as a young conservative. We have failed to message to these people properly. And that's partially because we just don't know how to message to the young people at all. Some people do. Some people like Charlie Kirk knew how to message to the young people. And what was his message? personal responsibility was his top message. And that is what young people want to hear, really, more than anything. If you force them to accept that their own problems are theirs, and the only way to fix them is through doing your own work and actually proving your own work, that is a good message. But the Republicans in Congress, the old school GOP, that's not their message. Their message is something along the lines of, well, you're just lazy and you don't understand. It's a very bad mindset and it's not very helpful. And it's also mostly because they're all fossils. Okay, like they're all ancient and they just need to leave. I mean, the one thing, I want to get a bumper sticker. I would love to get a bumper sticker for 2028 that says "No old fucks." That would be beautiful. How much would you pay for it? How much would you people pay for a bumper sticker that said "No old fucks 2028"? I mean, I don't know. I think I could sell those.
With that, though.
What now,
Walter? There could be a balance with that, right?
No.
That grit,
listen to me.
That grit, and because you know what, you got to work hard sometimes. And
but listen. Hard work is not and that's what I said. Hard work is all based on personal responsibility. That is true, but that's not the message that the old school GOP presents. Okay, the old school GOP presents the line on the stock market is increasing. Therefore, we are doing good. That is their message, essentially. Line go up conservatism is dead. Okay, like that's not something that's popular. And if you really want to go look at this and think about this, okay, the old school Rhino GOP may be the most unpopular people in the country. Like, who likes them? Seriously, if you would go look at this, who likes these people? Like, you have to ask yourself. The Democrats don't like them. Okay, the Democrats despise them. The MAGA Republicans, who's the number one thing I hear Republicans talk about? If they're not talking about leftists, who are they talking about? They're talking about how much we hate the rhinos. Okay, that's the old school GOP. So I would love to know, like, who right now is a huge fan of, John Cornyn? Who is a fan of these people? Who is a giant fan of people like Mitch McConnell? Now, Mitch McConnell, I think, gets a bad rap, and he shouldn't because he is one of the most effective legislators we've ever had. But Thune, how many people do you know that go, Thune's just my guy. I really like Thune. Yeah, oh, man, Thune, I think about him all the time. He's my favorite senator. No one does that, okay? Like, no one does that. No one likes these people.
If we lose the midterms, he's got a big problem.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really big problem.
Now, listen, here, if we lose midterms, it's going to be a huge problem no matter what we do, okay? This is why I tell people this is why we're trying to get focused again, getting back into the midterms and trying to actually focus. That is the most important thing we can do right now, without question.
But history shows, right, that it's more likely to happen, right?
Oh, yeah.
So,
well, listen,
I even told some Democrats, like, okay, guys, like, this is usually how it goes. But I just want to throw a curveball, Walter. I don't know if you saw the news. I was trying to mention it a little bit earlier. So it's being reported. It was breaking news earlier that Marjorie Taylor Greene, before she leaves Washington, January 5th, she is trying to find 8 other Republicans in order to vacate the House Speaker chair, which would be Mike Johnson. So she's like. I'm just saying, like, that's what she's.
Holy shit, reported. That is the funniest thing I've heard all day.
I'll tag you in it.
Yeah, that's great.
Do you think she can
listen
find
to me.
8 Republicans in
the
House Speaker chair?
That is some hysterical shit right there. Listen to me. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she is. Someone said this the other day, and I thought it was the most apt description of what she's doing. She is rage quitting. She is rage quitting. She's like in a Call of Duty lobby when you scream at somebody and she's throwing the controller down and stomping on top of it. That's what's happening right now. That is hysterical to me that she is trying to do that. That is very funny. Marjorie, just go home. Okay. You already are giving up on your district.
Happen?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Toxic. She is toxic.
Walter, your title on this space is so apt and so true and so important. And Indiana today was a perfect example of it. And, the fact that after 30 years in Miami, we have a Democrat mayor. I mean, this is
this is what I'm talking about. And this is the people are dropping the ball. Okay. And again, my argument is that we've been distracted since Charlie Kirk got shot and since we lost the Republican governor, like we lost the governor's races in New Jersey and Virginia. I think people have been distracted. They are not focused. And instead of focusing on that, they're all fighting with each other about bullshit. Okay, we got to get focused again. And further than that, we really need to get focused on pressuring the current sitting House and current sitting Senate to get things done. It is ridiculous that we are still fighting about this stuff. That Trump is still having issues with his appointees. Alina Habba just had to vacate her seat because we could not figure out how to get her actually through the Senate confirmation process. That is ridiculous. Okay, we're a year in. Why are you not confirming these people? And I'll tell you why they're not confirming these people, because they want to fucking lose. That's why. They want to lose because they couldn't get Trump in handcuffs, so they want to handcuff his agenda and they want to run out the clock. That's what they want. And we cannot let them do that.
They hate MAGA. They hate MAGA, Walter.
Well, and this is the point, right? This is the point. Listen, this is the point, okay? They don't like the populist movement. And the GOP, if they do not adopt a populist stance on something on a serious level and within legislation and get it through and actually figure out how to do it and actually get it done, if they do not do that, then the GOP as an establishment organization is going to lose badly in every election. That's just reality. If they don't actually move forward with the populist stuff, Trump can do everything he can underneath executive order. But at some point, if you can't get your agenda through because the Congress is not willing to actually do anything, just because we didn't get 60 votes, guys, it's not, and this is my argument again, that I think they just want to lose. They don't care. But, we'll see.
I just love the fact that we're trying to forgo Trump out of this, right? I mean, if I could just say this.
Jared, we're not going to, I need to move on to other people here. So I don't want to talk about Trump right now. What your comment is on Trump. Trump is a popular president for a reason. We have, what is this here? Macram for governor, CA. What's up, Macram? Markham.
Hey, everybody. This is Markham for governor. I have a question for you guys. Something that we're seeing in the California governor election is that people are not asking, and I think it leads to your point of why are we keeping these people in office until they die, basically? And that's in a rude way. It's just a fact. And when even people in California, conservatives, and yes, California does have conservatives. We have a lot of military bases here, lots of conservative people. There are people who are looking at current California governor candidates, and they're not asking the question of what are their policies and will this person be a good governor? To your point, what they're looking at is who has momentum, who is most likely to win. We have a California governor candidate that kneeled literally on video before Black Lives Matter. And he said he was in solidarity with them. And then when he's asked about it, he says he was praying. And this is one of the top two candidates right now in the polls. And he's got multiple legal investigations against him, but people keep pivoting back to, yeah, but who's more popular? Who's more likely to win? And I'm wondering if that, and let me know what you guys think, if that is just the general attitude in conservative politics. And that's why we have the Mitch McConnells of the world, where we just keep them in until they die, because people keep asking the same question of, well, who has name ID, who has the most money, and who's most likely to win?
Well, I mean, there is a factor to keep that in place, but the real reality is that if these people were smart and good incumbents and actually were willing to do things properly, they would set a successor up and then work with them to get them out. But the deal is they don't want to leave power. Okay, that's the real problem. Okay, these people do not want to leave power. They like their cushy little Senate job that they've had. I mean, Chuck Grassley is 93 years old, people. He's 93. Like, can you really honestly say that he's on his A game? And I like Chuck Grassley. I do. I think he's great, but he's 93 years old. He's 93, guys. Like, damn, dude, go home.
They live like kings.
That's the point. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, this is what my point is. They are never going to leave power unless someone pressures them to it. Like, I like Chuck Grassley, but he's 93. Go home. My God, don't you have grandchildren? You probably have great-great-grandchildren at this point, dude. Jesus, just go home. Okay, we got to move on to another person here. Patrick, what's up?
Hey, guys, how's it going? So I agree with a lot of what you guys have been saying on here. I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with, like, the crypto movement or how much they donated to the Republican Party.
I'm very familiar.
Yeah, so they donated more than anybody, from my understanding. And then what do the Republicans do? They shoot themselves in the foot, and they start essentially putting away people, essentially carrying on Biden's legacy with anti-crypto stuff. But not just that, but for example, whenever they reopen the government, And in the farm bill, they snuck in something against the hemp industry. Basically,
well, listen, so I don't know what you're talking about in terms of the crypto stuff, because as far as I'm aware, the crypto industry has had the most lax releasing of regulations on a lot of this stuff. So I guess you're going to have to give me specifics here.
Yeah, sure. So the Samurai Wallet guys.
I don't know anything about this.
Okay, so essentially they created a tool that makes crypto, or actually Bitcoin transactions, more private. And New York, they basically charged them in federal court with FinCEN for operating a financial operation that was quote unquote illegal, even though it was open source software.
Well, again, I'm going to have to look further into that. But as far as I'm aware, David Sachs and the people in the crypto industry are pretty happy with what's going on right now. So
yeah, well,
I guess I'm going to have to look into it.
The GOP, like they do things to like essentially enrich themselves. I consider them the uni party, you know, with the Democrats. I'm not including Trump or the MAGA movement with that.
Well, but you were just talking about the crypto industry being upset with Trump, and my argument is that
not with Trump specifically.
Well, but the GOP isn't in charge of the DOJ. Okay, so they're not in charge of the DOJ. The GOP is, and that'd be Trump's DOJ. So again, my question is, I guess Trump to me is, from what everything I know, and I'm pretty clued into the crypto industry. The crypto industry seems pretty happy. So I guess I just don't know what you're talking about.
I'll send you a link on the story on this, but it's pretty crazy. It's
well, I mean, listen, so I'll have to read this specific story, but I will say that there are, and you know this just as well as I do, there are quite a few people in the crypto industry that they are straight up scammers. Now, whether these people are, I have no idea, but there are a lot of people that are. So I don't know anything about these guys, and I can't speak to this case because I've never heard of this case, but send it to me and I'll check it out. But again, as far as I'm aware, the crypto industry has been pretty happy with what Trump's been doing, because a lot of the regulations got relaxed. A lot of money's been coming back into our market because of the crypto bringing stuff back here. Crypto market's been doing pretty well. Bitcoin was doing fantastic this year. I mean, it's still up at what's it, 90,000 right now still. You know, I don't know. And we'll have to look and see. But you know, he also released, what's his name, the guy that they pardoned almost immediately. So you know, there are some promises that he made, and he did
I'll
it.
just
So
say one last thing on it.
Go ahead.
So basically, the whole point of like crypto and self sovereignty, and you know, having your own hardware wallet and treating it like cash, because they're trying to turn everything into a cashless society, and they're trying to boost stable coins and all that stuff. You can listen to David Sachs on that. But what's concerning is they're trying to basically over scrutinize every little tiny transaction. And when you see the IRS, what they're updating the rules for, like basically keeping up with all of your crypto transactions and which wallets you move it to. I know a lot of you aren't into crypto. That's fine, but it's in the future, it's not going to be a good thing. And when they get rid of cash completely, and Republicans are going to be partly to blame, it's not going to be pretty. And especially in this upcoming midterms, you'll see more of this come out. But I'll just leave it at that.
Well, in terms of the whole like a cashless society, I'm not sure I'm going to buy into that until I see real proof of that. I'm not going to see. I don't believe that we're moving that way. There's a bunch of people that are worried about centralized digital currencies. That's not happening. But in terms of the blockchain being read and quickly being able to identify where people put money, that was always going to happen. Okay, blockchain is for life, and it has direct transactional IDs that go in between it. And sorry, I mean, that's just something they were always going to be able to track. Okay, that was always going to happen. So,
but you shouldn't have to report every little thing to the IRS. That's the big problem.
Well, I mean, it depends on what you're talking about. Like, I agree that there should be some certain things in transactions for it. You know, like if you make a bunch of money on a like a meme coin or something like that, you know, where I think you should be taxed is when you turn it into dollars. That's when I think you should be taxed. I mean, it should be just like any stock. So, like, if you turn that into that stock, take that stock or whatever that coin is. If you make a bunch of Solana on it, that's one thing. But if then you sell that for cash and pull that cash out, that should be taxable. Outside of that, I mean, I don't think you should tax outside of that. I mean, I think that's an absurd way to go about it. I mean, if you're turning it into cash, it's the same thing as selling a stock, guys. I mean, it's the same thing. Okay, so you're turning
It was
that.
already ruled that it's not a security and taxation is theft.
Well, listen, guys, you can claim taxation is theft. You can live in the world where you believe taxes won't happen. You're going to pay taxes. Okay. They're going to get their piece, whether you like it or not. I mean, you can dream, but there's two things that are certain in life. It is death and taxes. And you can get the hell over it if you don't think that's going to happen, people. Sorry. They're going to tax you.
No, and I sympathize with like the libertarian argument that taxation is theft, but it's more like, pretend as if like your regular wallet that you carry cash in, if you had to report every little slot that holds your credit card, that's essentially what they're doing, with crypto, basically. And a lot of people don't know about it yet, but when you see the IRS guidelines coming out, which is backed by this current Republican Party, you'll realize that in the end, it's not good. And stablecoins are essentially a Trojan horse for CBDCs. Not trying to wear a tinfoil hat on this, but just
well, I mean, listen, Trump already signed an executive order saying that there will be no CBDCs. So, again, this is why I'm telling you, like, the Trump administration is listening to the crypto industry. David Sachs is literally in the administration, and he knows what he's doing with the crypto industry. So I'll trust David Sachs. If there's something strange going on that is worth looking at, I'll take a look at it. The samurai wallet thing, I don't know. But I will say that the idea that we're going to have completely anonymous transactions, they're going to figure out a way around that, because partial of the reason they're going to start looking at that stuff, guys, is because they're just simply not going to allow criminal operations to be able to move money around without people knowing where it goes. Now, do I think they should be going after every single crypto wallet and every single thing that everybody's ever spent? No, they shouldn't be doing all that. What they really should be doing is they should go ask the OnlyFans girls that are making $12,000 a week out of their damn bedroom and make sure that they're getting taxed. Okay, that's a business.
And collecting Snap at the same time. There was one girl that was doing that. I was like, what?
Listen to me. Listen to me.
Making $40,000 a month.
Listen to me. Do you think all of the girls that when they said like what's that the Cash Me Outside girl? Okay, she made $1 million the day she launched her freaking OnlyFans. Do you think she paid taxes properly on that? I don't know. I mean, just this is why my thought is. I mean, I don't know if any of this is true. But I know for a fact that that's a bigger problem. I would say that we need to make sure if you're going to collect taxes, I think that if you're turning your crypto into cash that you spend, that is when you should be taxed on it. When you pull it out of the market and you turn it into actual US dollars, that's when I think it should be taxed for crypto. That's my opinion on it, at least. I mean, because it's the same thing as a stock at that point. And that's how it should be treated. And you shouldn't be, I don't think you should be taxed when you're doing things inside crypto that are designed to make crypto money. I mean, if you stable coins and then you go out of stable and you restable, I think that's just a factor of crypto that just makes it a more unique system. But I mean, I don't know. Again, this is all complicated stuff that is going to get litigated regardless of whether we like it or not. And if they think they can get taxes out of it, they're going to.
It is funny though, because I was looking at my Robinhood app earlier today. Most of the stuff you're like able to do on Robinhood now used to be illegal technically, just not too long ago, right? Like betting on all of this random shit all over the place.
Oh yeah.
Like,
listen,
listen,
Polymarket and Kalshi has got to be the two funniest things that have ever happened. But the one thing I will say about them is that they have created the greatest polling system that has ever existed. Okay, I was actually anti these new prediction markets. I was like, well, they're probably rigged, but they've been right like every single time so far. Okay, like I think the only race that they didn't get right in terms of betting market odds was the Virginia AG race. That was it. That's the only political election that it hasn't predicted accurately in the past like 4 cycles. So, I think we're just going to have to deal with the fact that these things are accurate. And the pollsters are going to have to figure out a way to get better results, because I'll tell you right now, a lot of pollsters were really friggin' wrong in this last election cycle. They were very, very wrong. Okay, so they're going to have to figure out how to compete, because Polymarket and Kalshi, if they make sure that they're not allowing like overbearing amounts of transactions to make sure that it's like super rigged in one direction, guys, if they're making sure they're doing that, that's going to be the best prediction market for polling for political stuff that's ever existed. It'll be great. Okay, let's see here. If you have your hand up, we've got a couple more minutes, so go ahead.
Yeah, so I just wanted, because I was listening on my drive home about the Tina Peters. So I just wanted to read her charges, just for the record here. So she was convicted. She was acquitted on several of the charges. I did not know that, by the way. So she was acquitted on several of the charges. The jury convicted her of attempt to influence a public servant, intentionally deceiving county officials and misusing her position to allow unauthorized imaging of election equipment. Count 2, Class 5 felony, conspiracy to attempt to influence a public servant. That's when she basically carried out the deception and included someone else, Conan Hayes. And then she used a local man's identity badge to sneak an unauthorized person into the secure election area. So that's why she was convicted. Right, wrong, or indifferent.
Well,
Obviously,
I mean,
that's
listen
been
to me.
settled.
Listen to me.
It's been settled already.
I'm not arguing about it. I'm just saying, listen to the guys. I'd love to see Tina Peters freed, guys. My argument on it is very simple. She was charged in Colorado, and Colorado's run by the Democrats. She will never be free. That's the answer. Okay. Like, I mean, you guys can argue about it all you want. I mean, that's as much as you would like it. I would love to say that she should be free. She should be. The only way that that's going to happen, guys, is you'd have to somehow convince a Democrat governor in a Democrat state that is run by Democrats to pardon her. Ain't gonna happen. Same thing with Derek Chauvin. Derek Chauvin should be free. That guy's an innocent. He did nothing wrong at all. He is in a Democrat state run by a Democrat Senate and a Democrat governor. He will never be free. Never going to happen.
But Walter, the internet sleuths, like the MAGA internet sleuths, are already trying to say somehow Donald Trump has discretion to pardon Tina Peters.
Listen to me. This is Jared. We don't need to debate it because I've already talked about this with people earlier. People are saying that she's free.
Outside of this space, there's literally MAGA people saying that Trump.
These are people that don't understand what the Trump can't pardon for state crimes, and that's listen. I'm not going to argue with people about this, guys. I would love to say Trump can pardon. He can pardon for all federal crimes. He can pardon. Okay, he cannot pardon for state crimes. Not possible. It's just not going to happen. And again, Democrat state, Democrat governor, unless you can somehow convince the Democrat governor of Colorado to pardon Tina Peters, she is still in prison. And I would love for her to be out. She shouldn't be in prison. I agree. Doesn't matter. Not going to be out.
She was denied standing on all of her evidence. She wasn't allowed to present her case at all. And then,
guys, I love all of these things. This is all true. Meaningless. Doesn't matter. The only way she's getting out is she gets a pardon from the Democrat governor of Colorado. Not going to happen. Okay?
Correct.
It's just not going to happen.
The only way Trump can get her out is if he takes her into federal custody as a federal witness.
Well,
he cannot do that. That's not going to happen. The Colorado State Prison is where she's being housed. That cannot, just admit it, right? There's a separation.
Hey, listen, guys, I'm not going to have this argument. Okay, it's not going to happen. We don't need. Listen, it's just. Listen, Jared, I'm not going to have the argument because one, it just doesn't matter to me. Guys, we're not doing this. Okay, we're not going to fight on my space about this. I'm just telling you, this is the reality that we live in. Democrat state, Democrat governor, not going to pardon her. She ain't getting out of prison. I'd love for her to be out of prison. It's not going to happen. Okay, there's nothing that you can do. Okay, there's nothing that Trump can do to get somebody out of a state-run prison. That's just not happening. Okay. You can dream about it and you can wish for it, but I'm telling you, you're living on hopium if you think it's going to happen, guys. It's not happening. He can talk about it as much as he wants. I'd love for it to happen, but it's not going to happen.
Down the chimney. SEAL Team 6. Jared,
there we go. Now there's an idea. Now that's an idea. I didn't think about that. We could.
I'll do a flight.
Listen, I didn't think about that. We could send the SEAL team in. All right, so that's fine. All right, if you extract her. Now, that's something else. Now, if we do a forced extraction of a federal witness from a state prison, that will be the craziest thing that has ever happened, and I'm here for it. Let's do it. Okay. Guys.
I'm going to be watching Colorado State Police arrest. I love this.
I mean, I don't know how that would go down. Listen to me. If they send the SEAL team in, I don't think that the state police is going to do much to stop the SEAL team parachuting through the window. So, I don't know, guys. That's
National Guard.
Listen, guys, I don't have any time for all this, guys. This is a great entertaining thing here. But, guys, this is the political theater. Thank you guys for showing up this evening. My name is Walter Kurt. If you guys have been listening on all of the different platforms, I appreciate you guys being here. This is a weeknight show. This is Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. I was off the past couple days because I was down in D.C., down at George Santos's party. But I am back now, so the next couple days I will be here. I'm going to probably have one show over the weekend because I missed a couple days this week. So I will have another show over the weekend, but then we will be back on Monday. And then going into next week, because that is going to be AmFest, I will be busy going to AmFest, but I'm going to figure out a time to do the show. So the show will always always be on recordings, guys. So if you guys missed the show, you'll be able to check the show out either on the recordings or you guys will be able to check me in here. And if you go to WCDispatch.com and become a subscriber, you get emails to let you know when the show starts. So you guys will be able to see all that stuff. And obviously, I'll have some more information coming about what I'm going to be doing at the first of the year, guys. So thank you guys for being here. I'm Walter Kerb. We'll see you guys next time on the theater. Thanks, you guys, for showing up, and we'll see you guys next time.
Some folks are born with a liberty spark. Their hearts beat red, white, and blue. When the anchors sneer and the cameras bark, they turn the lens right back at you. Truth bound, ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're not the party line sons, no, it ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're the vigilant ones, so. Some folks inherit silk-lined halls, spend our sweat while preaching share. But when the tax man wraps his knuckles raw, their mansions suddenly look bare, impaired. Ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're not their banker-raised hairs, no. Ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're the vigilant ones, so. Yeah, some paint stars on press room lies and send the common men to toil. Ask them, how much truth will you trade tonight? They mutter, more noise, more noise, more noise. Ain't for sale, ain't for sale. Not the theater's pawns, friend. It ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're America's steadfast ones. No, we won't be spun.